Chapter 2262. As Wu Dan and the other Titan tribe powerhouses were running forward, they suddenly felt a powerful ice aura behind them. They immediately realized that their enemies had arrived. There are still people guarding above. Why didn't they send any messages? A giant expert shouted angrily. Looks like things aren't that simple. At this moment, Wu Dan's eyebrows were tightly furrowed. He immediately thought back to the strange expression on that expert's face when he had first seen him. Thinking back to the way he had acted and how he had not dared to come down directly, it was clear that this person was most likely a spy. There's no need to worry about that. Right now, we are the hope of the Wildlands tribe. We have to find the Wildlands Spirit Stone and bring it back to the Wildlands tribe. Yes, the Wildlands experts all agreed. Given the circumstances, they had no other choice but to move forward. Following the guidance of the Spirit Stones, everyone came to the bottom of the Valley of Flames and continued to search for the dark yellow Spirit Stones. However, the environment below was even more harsh. Even the power of the red pill could not resist such a terrifying flame power. This was the flame that contained the Samadhi True Fire Law. And the power of the red pill, after much consumption, was still too little in their bodies. Under such a disadvantageous situation, they could only speed up their search. Behind them, Ice Vulture led the members of the Frost lineage in pursuit. Such a harsh environment also put great pressure on their frost canopy. As time passed, the strength of both sides would gradually decrease. Meanwhile, behind the two groups of people, there was a person observing secretly. It was Yi Chun. With his multiple layers of defenses and the advantage of his physique, even the Samadhi True Fire had a limited effect on him. After all, this true fire was formed naturally because of the Savage Spirit Stones. It was on a completely different level compared to the true fire emitted by the Savage Spirit Stones. On the ground below the Valley of Fire, many flaming mountains stood tall. The surroundings were almost all scorched earth. No one could imagine that there was any life in this place. However, even in such an environment, there was still a supreme essence of creation in the center of the valley. Leader Wu Dan, look! A giant discovered the location of the Savage Spirit Stone and shouted frantically. Ha ha ha! Immediately activate the Spirit Stone drawing secret technique. We must take away the Spirit Stone essence. Yes. The giants scattered and stood in their positions, preparing to use the Spirit Stone drawing technique. At that moment, the Wildland Spirit Stone in the center started to tremble. Following that, a strange sound could be heard from it. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Listening to these cries, one couldn't help but think of some sort of monkey-like creature. It was very strange. Secret drawing technique. Wu Dan tossed out the Spirit Stones, drawing upon the power of the Spirit Stones and continuously pouring energy into the Savage Spirit Stones. This energy was the purest life energy of the Savage Giant race. Legend had it that only this pure life energy could awaken the Savage Elves. Z. With the infusion of this energy, the Savage Spirit Stone's life aura became even stronger. It was as if a powerful life form was being nurtured within it. At this moment, as the life force within the Spirit Stone rose, the power of the true Samadhi fire in the surrounding space clearly increased. It could be seen that the source of the true fire was the Savage Spirit Stone. Hold on. Use your life to persevere. The bodies of the giant powerhouses in the surrounding defensive arrays began to disintegrate. It was precisely because of the super destructive power of the Samadhi True Fire that the power of the red balls had completely disappeared. Under the attack of the Samadhi True Fire, their bodies were completely unable to resist. Chi. Their disintegrated bodies turned into ashes that constantly drifted in all directions. However, no matter how the savage giants gave up, if they lost this opportunity, the savage tribe would face the greatest crisis. They could only use their lives to resist. Z. Under the continuous infusion of life energy, cracks actually appeared on the Savage Spirit Stone. It could be seen that the life form within the Savage Spirit Stone was taking shape and even wanted to rush out. The vast power of the true fire instantly swept the entire area and rushed towards the sky. Such a vast amount of energy instantly attracted the attention of the white frost giant. Ice Vulture frowned and led the powerhouses to a place frantically. He had already locked onto the location of the savage spirit stone. Samadhi Stone Spirit, don't even think about helping the savage tribe. Ice Vulture roared angrily. His entire body was filled with endless frost energy, instantly increasing the power of the frost sky cover. This allowed everyone to break through the true fire realm and enter the core area of the savage spirit stone. Lord Ice Vulture, they're activating the array to release the Samadhi Stone Spirit. Ha ha, don't even think about it. At this moment, Ice Vulture flew up and released countless ice spikes from his hands. These ice spikes frantically gathered around the savage spirit stone and then formed a barrier, blocking the infusion of life energy from Wu Dan and the other giants. Both sides were instantly in a deadlock. It was obvious that the savage tribe was in a bad situation. At this moment, high up in the sky, a person was observing the situation. It was Yi Chun. What kind of mysterious thing is the Samadhi Stone Spirit? This emperor is very interested. Seeing that the Samadhi Stone Spirit's life energy was declining, it could be seen that the Ice Spikes barrier was extremely effective against the savage tribe's array. These ice spikes even restricted the savage spirit stone's own life energy. Under such circumstances, the Samadhi Stone Spirit would die prematurely. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Cries of pain came from within the savage spirit stone. It could be seen that the stone's spirit itself wanted to break through the barrier and be born. Ice Vulture, damn it. Wu Dan roared angrily, but he had no other choice. Go and kill them. Yes. Under Wu Dan's command, the other giant powerhouses attacked Ice Vulture and the others. Ha ha, let them come. Ice Vulture let out a sinister laugh. Following that, with a single thought, countless ice spikes flew toward the savage giants who were charging at him. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the blink of an eye, the giants fell to the ground under the stabbing of the ice spikes. Blood flowed freely. Everything before them was scarlet. Under the burning of the Samadhi true fire, the various auras of blood and chi soared into the sky. Ha! Interesting, interesting. At this moment, Yi Chen appeared. He stood on a golden lotus and walked in the air, looking at the crowd. Who are you? Ice Vulture looked at Yi Chen coldly. He did not see any powerful cultivation base on Yi Chen. He was just a mystic immortal. To a powerhouse like him, a mystic immortal who could run amok in the spiritual realm or even the primordial immortal realm was nothing. Yi Chen's appearance was an anomaly. The savage Wu Dan frowned slightly, while Ice Vulture stared coldly. Both sides were wondering what Yi Chen was going to do. Samadhi Stone Spirit. This emperor wants to see what this fake is. What do you think? You're courting death. Hearing this, Ice Vulture was enraged and released ice spikes again. Chapter 2263. Countless icicles turned into sharp blades and attacked Yi Chen. This time, Ice Vulture did not hold back at all. His goal was simple. No matter who the person before him was, he would kill him. However, these icicles could deal with the barbaric giants. They were useless against Yi Chen. Heaven and earth furnace. Yi Chen glared angrily and spread his arms. In an instant, ancient divine power swept through the world and the heaven and earth furnace appeared. The furnace floated in front of Yi Chen. Then, endless ancient divine power turned into a vortex. The icicles that rushed toward him could not escape the vortex's control and were all absorbed into the heaven and earth furnace. Then, there was a loud bang in the furnace. Countless icicles were refined by the ancient divine power and turned into ice water. It was the frost progeny's energy that was stored in the furnace. That's it. Yi Chen looked at Ice Vulture with a sneer and asked. Ice Vulture looked over and knew that Yi Chen had hidden his strength. He was definitely not as simple as a mystic immortal. Otherwise, he could not have come to the south of the God Peak. Who are you? Ice Vulture asked with a smile. Heavenly Emperor, Yi Chen. Yi Chen? Hearing this name, Ice Vulture and Wu Dan were confused. They had never heard of this person. Originally, Yi Chen was in contact with the barbaric tribe. It was just that the barbaric giants did not have time to send the news to Wu Dan. After all, they were in the south. The situation here was too special, and they were limited by the information barrier. Ice Vulture did not have any impression of Yichun. He did not know where this kid in front of him came from. Yichun, no matter who you are, cooperate with us to kill the Samadhi rock spirit, and I will recommend you to Ice King. By then, all kinds of cultivation resources and rare treasures will be given to you. Oh, is there such a good thing? Seeing that both sides had something to ask of him, Yichun was not in a hurry. Anyway, he still needed time to secretly analyze the internal structure of the barbaric spirit stone. Of course, I'm the Duke of the Frost Progeny. I'm a famous figure in the barbaric universe. I would never lie to you. I'm not bad. What about you? After listening to Ice Vulture, Yichun turned to look at Wu Dan. Wu Dan was stunned. He did not expect Yichun to ask him that. Huh, the Samadhi stone spirit is a supreme treasure of the wilderness. We don't even know how many miraculous things it contains. As long as you help us release the stone spirit, it will have its own spirituality. Helping you break through and ascend will be a piece of cake. This was a response that Wu Dan had painstakingly thought of. After all, the Manchurian tribe did not like to scheme. They had no confidence in how to make Yichun happy, so they could only use the rock spirit to pique Yichun's interest. After all, Yichun had said before that he was interested in the rock spirit. Does this thing really have spirituality? Yichun asked, pretending to be doubtful. Of course, this is definitely a treasure of the wildlands. Wu Dan's eyes were determined. She dared not be careless at all. Currently, Yichun was the balance point between both parties. As soon as he led one side, the situation would change. Squeak, squeak, squeak. At this moment within the untamed spirit rock, the rock spirit shrieked again. It was clear that the life force was not enough for it to hatch. If this continued, the rock spirit might be completely destroyed. Wu Dan was extremely nervous. Before he came, the elders in the tribe had told him about the malfunction characteristics. If the formation could not be completed, the consequences would be unimaginable. He looked at Yichun and shouted, "What are you waiting for? Once the rock spirit is destroyed, you won't get anything. Moreover, the frost giant is cunning. Do you really think the ice vulture will fulfill his promise?" That makes sense. Ha ha ha. All of you shall die together. At this moment, the ice vulture suddenly made a move and threw out a frost wheel. This will constantly release an extremely strong frost power, and the surrounding space rapidly froze. Even the Samadhi true fire could no longer burn, and it fell into a dormant state. After all, this true fire was continuously occurring in the environment, and not spontaneously generated by the stone spirit. Seeing that the situation was collapsing, Wu Dan raised his head and howled, "Does the heavens want the Manchurian tribe to die?" The ice vulture was high and mighty. His eyes were filled with disdain as he said, "Humph, I've been negotiating with you two idiots for so long. I'm just buying time. Now, I'm going to kill you both." "Two idiots? Wait, don't tell me you're bringing me along, too?" Yichun asked coldly. "Ha, calling yourself an emperor is just a fool. How dare a mere mystic immortal show off in front of me? You're courting death." With the support of the frost wheel, the ice vulture was freed from the restriction. The frost power all over his body exploded like a body of ice, sealing everything. Great frost avalanche. All the frost giants flew up one after another and stepped on the ice wheel. Following that, the entire mountain turned into a mountain of frost. Subsequently, countless snowflakes fell from the sky, turning into the most brutal, destructive power, completely burying everyone. I'm the center of the Manchurian tribe. Seeing that the wild spirit stone's unsealing had failed at the last moment, Wu Dan's heart sank, and he collapsed to the ground. At this moment, a majestic figure suddenly stood tall. Under the bloody explosion, there was actually someone who resisted. The ancient god's shadow held the heaven and earth furnace with both hands. Immediately, the heaven and earth force and the beginning of all creation swept through the wild spirit stone in an instant. The wild spirit stone was instantly absorbed by the furnace. Wild spirit stone. Wu Dan roared, wanting to snatch it. However, With just a glance from the ancient god, Wu Dan felt that his body could not move at all. He even fell backward unconsciously as if something was pulling him. One must know that Wu Dan was a wild giant that was like a peak. What kind of power could do this? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the wind in the furnace roared, and the power of the divine wheel was activated at the same time. Life gate, open. Yi Chen's divine consciousness moved, and the judgment gate opened. Endless life force was poured into the wild spirit stone. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Immediately, the wild spirit stone kept screaming, but this time it was not the sound of pain, but the sound of excitement and explosion. What? On the ice wheel, the powerhouses of the ice vulture were shocked. The unparalleled great snow avalanche was blocked by Yi Chen, and he even absorbed the wild spirit stone into the heaven and earth furnace. What was he trying to do? Just when everyone was puzzled, there was a shocking explosion. The wild spirit stone in the furnace instantly collapsed, and a ball of spiritual light flew to the sky. Ha 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 ha! Accompanied by super violent laughter, a little monkey with teeth bared and body burning with true fire descended from the sky. All of you, go to hell. As soon as the little monkey was born, it spat a mouthful of true samadhi fire at all the powerhouses of the frost giant tribe. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The power of the powerful true fire was incomparable. Like a raging wave, it instantly engulfed all the frost giants. Chapter 2264. Hoo. In front of him, there was only the true fire destroying the world. There was no life left. The powerful true fire instantly swept through the entire ice wheel. Many ice element experts were trapped within, unable to escape. Cries of pain continued to ring out. On the ice wheel, blood instantly flowed like a river, and the smell of burning filled the air. Only Bing Jiu managed to escape. Yi Chen. This battle had failed entirely because of Yi Chen's appearance. Ice Vulture's hatred for Yi Chen had reached its peak, but the situation had been reversed. The Samadhi Rock spirit's strength was far beyond his imagination. If he continued to fight, he would definitely die. This Duke will remember this debt. Ha ha ha, get lost, trash. Yi Chen shouted loudly after snickering a few times. You. Ice Vulture gritted his teeth, but it was useless. The Samadhi Rock spirit had already rushed towards him. The law of the rock spirit completely suppressed the frost giant. He couldn't fight it head-on, so he could only escape. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Right now, the stone spirit soared into the 9 heavens, smashing about in all types of directions. It was curious towards everything in its surroundings, but its power was too great. After smashing a few times, Flame Valley was already on the verge of collapse. Benefactor, we can't stay here for long. We'll bring you out. At that moment, Wu Dan came over and shouted. Yi Chen nodded slightly. Then, he put away the ancient god Dharma form in the heaven-earth furnace. He leaped onto Wu Dan's shoulder and rushed out of the Valley of Fire with the Wildlanders. On Fire Forest Peak, because of the frost giant's agitation, the temperature still plummeted. After everyone landed, the rock spirit flew out at the same time. It breathed in and out the wind and clouds around it, and raging flames scorched the sky. Lord Rock Spirit, stop fooling around. At this moment, Wu Dan and the others shouted at the rock spirit in the sky. Ha! Why do you care about the matters of the rock spirit? I just want to cause trouble. This, Wu Dan and the others were speechless. The rock spirit was the supreme treasure of the barbarian tribe. No matter if it was in terms of status or strength, they couldn't disrespect the rock spirit. Hence, they couldn't control what the rock spirit wanted to do. Just when everyone was at a loss as to what to do, a cold voice suddenly rang out. Come down. Everyone was shocked when they heard that. It was Yi Chen who shouted at the sky. Benefactor, you can't do this. Wu Dan and the others panicked, afraid that the rock spirit would be enraged and kill them. Whoosh! Boom! In the blink of an eye, the Samadhi rock spirit was standing in front of Yi Chen. There was a deep pit of fire under its feet. It smiled at Yi Chen and walked over to lean on him. It kept rubbing against him, clearly very dependent on Yi Chen. This time, Wu Dan and the others were completely stunned. The Samadhi rock spirit was the most violent existence. It was impossible for it to submit to anyone. This was the legend of the wilderness tribe since ancient times. However, the rock spirit was obedient to Yi Chun. How could this be explained? Master, what can I do for you? Master? The people were even more shocked to hear how the rock spirit addressed Yi Chun. Wu Dan and the rest looked at each other. They had no idea what was going on. However, the truth was right in front of them. They had no choice but to believe it. Who's your master? Don't spout nonsense. Yi Chun said, the person who saved me from the spirit stone, is my master. If that's the case, it makes sense. Of course, I'm very smart. If it wasn't for master, I would have died in the savage spirit stone. It was really dangerous. You're pretty smart. How about you follow me from now on? Yes, master. Wu Dan and the rest had no energy to complain about the series of actions before them. All of these things were impossible, but they had happened. Wait, benefactor, this rock spirit is the treasure of the wilderness tribe. You can't take it away. Yi Chun looked at Wu Dan coldly. A piercingly cold, killing intent made Wu Dan take a few steps back. He could not resist it with his huge body. At this moment, the rock spirit rushed forward and said, F***, what does removing the rock spirit have to do with you guys? How dare you stop me? I dare not, I dare not. Wu Dan and the rest knelt on the ground, not daring to raise their heads. It's just that the Samadhi rock spirit concerns the survival of the wilderness tribe. If Lord Rock Spirit really wants to follow Yi Chun, we can only respect Yi Chun as the master of the wilderness. Master of the wilderness? It's a good idea to let my master be the master of the wilderness. What? Yi Chun was speechless. He did not expect this to happen. He was going to be the master of the wilderness for no reason. Benefactor, please follow us back to the wilderness. There will naturally be a coronation ceremony. How about this? You guys return to the wilderness first. I still have to travel to the north of God Peak. The north? Hearing this, Wu Dan and the rest trembled and said, the north is the most dangerous place in the ninth method. There are many geniuses from the strongest forces in the universe there. Benefactor, you'll definitely be in danger if you enter. F***, what are you guys talking about? With the rock spirit accompanying master, what danger will there be? This. Wu Dan and the rest naturally did not dare to disobey the rock spirit, so they could only agree. They left information about the route and returned to the wilderness universe according to Yi Chun's instructions. After watching the Wildlands tribe leave, Yi Chun pointed to the rock spirit. Instantly, the rock spirit turned into a beam of spiritual light and entered Yi Chun's ear. Following that, Yi Chun's left ear turned crimson and the fur around it was like flames. It was very strange. The north, I'm coming. After subduing the Samadhi rock spirit, Yi Chun had gained a super helper. His overall strength had increased greatly. Filled with confidence, he rushed toward the north. Along the way, Yi Chun encountered some people looking for treasures in the south. However, the treasures they were looking for were nothing compared to the dragon-taming spear and rock spirit true fire that Yi Chun had obtained. They could only give up. After traveling through space for 3 days and 3 nights, Yi Chun finally arrived at the North Peak. As soon as he stepped into the North Peak, Yi Chun sensed that the energy here was completely different from the other peaks. There was the energy of the heavenly Tao mark here. Is the 9th heaven Tao hidden here? Looks like I need to find a place to create the 8th heaven Tao on my own. This was something Yi Chun had to do. Only by completing the 8th heaven Tao mark in advance would Yi Chun have the foundation to cultivate the 9th heaven Tao. Yi Chun entered a secret place, and with the rock spirit's help, he successfully mastered the 8th heaven Tao after 49 days of cultivation. Yi Chun did not expect the rock spirit to comprehend the 8th heaven Tao on its own within the 9 paths. If not for the rock spirit's help, Yi Chun would need 49 years to comprehend the 8th heaven Tao. After cultivating the 8th heaven Tao, Yi Chun officially stepped into the final 9 paths, the Buddha realm. This was the place where the Buddha Emperor's treasures and secret manuals were the highest and richest. 9th heaven Buddha Emperor. Are you satisfied with my performance this time? Yi Chun said to the sky. A Buddha seal appeared in the sky. It was mysterious and extraordinary, complex and ever-changing. Chapter 2265. Looking at the Buddha seal in the air, Yi Chun smiled slightly. Heavenly Buddhas, I, 8th grade Heavenly Tao. Yi Chun's Buddha's light blazed, and a Buddha appeared in the 9th heaven. 9 rays of spiritual light surrounded his body, and his foundation rapidly improved. After his foundation improved, Yi Chun looked at the Buddha seal again and saw a different scene. It was the symbol of 8th grade Heavenly Tao. Break through this Buddha seal, and I'll see you again. All right. Yi Chun soared and rushed directly into the Buddha seal world. In this world, everything around him was formed by 8th grade Heavenly Tao, interweaving into a complex and bizarre domain. In this domain, Yi Chun could clearly feel that he was an outsider. This feeling was problematic. The Buddha Emperor's Zen was profound, and this feeling seemed to be speeding up Yi Chun. Although he had entered this world, he did not understand it at all. Activating the fundamental Heavenly Tao mark, Yi Chun continued to observe the various things in the surrounding predicament. He found that these things were constantly changing their forms, and there was no stable state at all. Why was this so? Is my understanding of the fundamental Heavenly Tao mark still not deep enough? This was the first thing that Yi Chun thought of. After all, the fundamental Heavenly Tao mark was the foundation of other Heavenly Tao marks. Even the 9th grade Heavenly Tao mark must be forged from the fundamental Heavenly Tao mark. At this time, thunder rumbled in the sky and lightning flashed. Suddenly, a grand expectation appeared before Yi Chun. Yi Chun raised his head slightly and looked at the grand chessboard. What he saw was countless powerhouses standing on it. He immediately realized that these powerhouses were likely like him, chosen after passing the Buddha Emperor's test. Glancing around, Yi Chun sensed many Heavenly Tao auras emanating from these people. There were even several powerhouses with 8th grade Heavenly Tao auras. It was obvious that these people had similar experiences as him. The universe was vast, and there were countless geniuses. Those who could stand here must be the best of the best. Yi Chun found that above these people's heads, there were Buddhist characters that introduced these powerhouses' names, origins, and cultivation bases. At a glance, there was the primordial universe, the savage universe, the flying cloud universe. All kinds of universes emerged one after another. Most of the powerhouses were extremely distinguished. They were either royal children or the princes of powerful sections. They were very dazzling. Yi Chun looked up at the top of his head. Sure enough, there were Buddhist characters that introduced his origins. Haha, someone from the Chaos verse? Am I seeing things? A burst of laughter rang out. Yi Chun was no longer surprised by this. He had encountered people who laughed at him in the lowest divine peak. This was the ultimate trial ground of the ninefold Heavenly Tao. It was even more logical for such people to appear. Crown Prince Royal Azure, don't underestimate this person. Anyone who can make it this far isn't simple. The other person spoke. This person was tall and sturdy with a buzz cut. His entire body was covered in muscles, and he looked like a diamond. He was extremely formidable. Yi Chun looked over. This person was from the Misty universe, and the one who laughed at Yi Chun was the Emperor from the Flying Cloud universe's Emerald Cloud sect, Hua Qingyun. Yi Chun ignored Hua Qingyun's mockery. Instead, he immediately gathered everyone's information. This was because these Buddhist aura words seemed mystical, but the energy was very thin. In other words, they could not exist for long. Sure enough, they all disappeared in less than 5 minutes. Many experts were observing the chessboard and did not pay attention to the various information of the people around them, causing the information to be unclear. On the chessboard, there were as many experts as there were clouds. Everyone occupied a position, and the pieces under their feet were their respective identity pieces. Yi Chun was stepping on a car. All of you, listen to this Crown Prince's command. A loud voice shook the entire place. Yi Chun turned his head to look and saw that it was the Crown Prince Royal Azure. He was stepping on a handsome piece. It seemed that according to the chessboard's identity, they really had to listen to his command. However, the powerhouses who came here were absolute geniuses. It was not that easy to gather so many people. On the opposite side, there were also many powerhouses. They were also stepping on the identity pieces, and the one in the center was a general. Are they going to kill each other? In such a situation, this battle was inevitable. What was the purpose of killing each other? Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Suddenly, Buddhist aura shone brightly. Above the 9 heavens, the Wisdom King Buddha descended. I'm the immovable Wisdom King. I'm very happy to see so many powerhouses here today. This formation was left behind by the Buddha Emperor, waiting for those who were fated to enter and comprehend the 9 heavenly Tao. Immovable Wisdom King? Ha ha ha. Are you trying to scare us? Yeah, we're all peerless geniuses of the various universes. Who do you think you are? What's your purpose here? Many experts looked at the immovable Wisdom King with disdain. It was obvious that they didn't have any reverence for the immovable Wisdom King. After all, they were too powerful. All of you silence. Suddenly, the motionless Wisdom King roared. The surrounding land shook at the same time. The entire chessboard unceasingly issued rumbling sounds. Following that, the chess pieces under their feet released golden lightning, surrounding the bodies of the experts. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Under the golden lightning, those who wanted to challenge the immovable Wisdom King's authority were all punished by the heavens. Seeing this scene, everyone understood that the person before them was probably the god who controlled their fate. They had to respect him. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know how they died. We're in awe. We don't dare to act rashly. Yes, those powerhouses bowed to the immovable Wisdom King, not daring to move. The immovable Wisdom King ignored them and continued to explain. He hovered high in the sky with the 9 paths of reincarnation seal behind him. Yichen looked over and saw too much heavenly Tao energy that he could not understand. The 9 paths of reincarnation seal behind this person was probably the core of the 9 heavenly Tao. The one who obtains the 9 heavenly Tao can only be the one who survives through this chessboard. What does this mean? There's so many of us here, and only one person can obtain the 9 heavenly Tao. Is he messing with us? That's right. The immovable Wisdom King sneered. The Buddha Emperor's order. Who dares to fabricate it? Boom! The power surged out again. The powerhouses' hearts trembled. They deeply felt that this was not an ordinary formation. If they had any ulterior motives, they would suffer a backlash and die without a doubt. I want to quit. Suddenly, a powerhouse shouted with a trembling voice. The immovable Wisdom King turned to look at that person and revealed a mysterious smile. You want to quit? Are you sure? Yes, yes. I don't want to participate in such a dangerous fight. Ha ha ha. What a pity, what a pity. Ever since you entered the 9 heavenly Tao, you want to quit? You're courting death. Chapter 2266. Seeing the Wisdom King's angry expression, his palms stirred the wind and clouds, causing the heavenly punishment to descend and bombard that powerhouse. ZZZ, ZZZ, ZZZ. Golden lightning coiled around the powerhouse like a golden dragon. The powerhouse's body couldn't resist it at all and was instantly smashed into pieces. This powerhouse was a peak heaven immortal, but he was instantly judged by the Wisdom King. This scene was too shocking. Therefore, the powerhouses knew that since they had participated in this game, there was no possibility of leaving. They could only fight to the end. Ha ha, good to die, good to die. Someone laughed. Hu Qingyan, what do you mean? A powerhouse asked, unconvinced. Since we're here, we must fight to the end. This is what a peerless genius should have. You all are so cowardly. How can you be called geniuses? What did you say? The powerhouses were unconvinced and shouted angrily. However, Hu Qingyan was not afraid at all. He looked at the crowd with a cold smile, as if the final winner would be him. Enough. At this time, the Wisdom King spoke again. Everyone was silent. He looked at the crowd and said, "This is not only a game of killing each other, but also a game of cooperation. According to the rules of the chessboard, each of you has a mission. Only cooperation is the way to go." Yes, the crowd answered. They saw the Wisdom King fly up to the sky and send down the decree. Immediately, the chessboard began. All of you follow me. Attack their general, Hua Qingyun shouted. Oomph, do you think we're idiots? Yi Chun sneered. What do you mean? Yi Chun, you disobeyed my order. I'll kill you first. All right, you can try. Facing Hua Qingyun's threat, Yi Chun showed no fear. He understood that as the chariot, he was very useful in this game. Even if Hua Qingyun wanted to attack him, the others wouldn't agree. As expected, some powerhouses told Hua Qingyun not to be too angry. Emperor Qingyun, although we'll listen to your command for now, if you don't look at the big picture, we won't support you. Yes, this person's identity as the chariot is very useful. Don't touch him. Humph. Hua Qingyun glanced at Yi Chun and didn't say anything. At this time, in front of the formation, 5 soldiers crossed the river and pressed down. Seeing this scene, Hua Qingyun issued an order, and the 5 troops advanced together. In the blink of an eye, the 10 experts were already confronting each other above the array diagram. Under their feet, raging waves suddenly appeared, crashing against the shore, and a great river flowed. Such a shocking change shocked everyone. Kill! The general on the other side gave the order, shouting kill crazily. The chaotic battle between the 10 combatants was earth-shattering. Boundless energy fluctuations surged majestically. The entire river instantly fell into a state of collapse. Boundless waves rose automatically and turned into various ferocious beasts that charged toward Yi Chun. What's going on? Hua Qingyun asked angrily. Not good. The other side has someone proficient in water laws. An expert shouted. Damn it! Hua Qingyun was greatly enraged, but facing such a disadvantageous situation, what could he do? Let me. At this moment, the expert from the vast cosmos jumped out. This person's identity was Pow. Everyone in front, coordinate with my attack. All right. The experts in front of him all unleashed their mystic arts to support this person. War God Puppet, can you do it or not? Hua Qingyun shouted impatiently when he saw that the expert had yet to make a move. Shut up. He didn't expect that the War God Puppet didn't care about his status at all. With a loud shout, the experts only coldly laughed. No one cared about Hua Qingyun's feelings. Such a situation made him even more furious. As the commander, he actually had no prestige at all. He's gathering the power of his mystic art. Hua Qingyun, I think you better not get in his way. Yi Chun said. Humph, it's not your turn. Before Hua Qingyun could say anything, the ground suddenly trembled and the wind and clouds surged. The War God Puppet's powerful mystic art attracted countless rocks, which gathered wildly in the sky. Finally, it turned into a boundless and majestic War God Puppet. It roared continuously and shook the earth. With the cooperation of the experts in front of it, it grew a pair of wings and flew toward the opposite side. Roar! The War God Puppet roared wildly. Countless rocks fell, and the surging river actually showed signs of stopping. When water comes, earth covers it. Kill! The War God Puppet once again boosted the power of earth. All the opponent's water beasts collapsed, unable to resist the might of the War God Puppet. In the blink of an eye, the situation was reversed. Ha, War God Puppet, not bad. Seeing this scene, Hua Qingyun laughed loudly. Everyone was his tool. In his heart, as long as there was value to be used, he would treat them with a smile. However, he would not hesitate to abandon useless people. This principle was what he learned as the Emperor Qingyun's son after hundreds of years of cultivation in the Emerald Cloud sect. Humph! In the face of Hua Qingyun's praise, the War God Puppet only snorted coldly. It would not take it seriously at all. Kill! Seeing that the situation on the battlefield had been reversed, Hua Qingyun gave the order to kill. Instantly, the surrounding experts attacked one after another and charged forward. Mystic arts and secret techniques flew everywhere. Energy exploded and danger was everywhere. The person Yi Chun locked his cold eyes on was naturally the opponent's general. He did not expect that the opponent's general was not looking at Hua Qingyun or the War God Puppet, but him. Such a situation that did not conform to common sense surprised Yi Chun. The opponent's general was called Tyrant Wujiang. He was tall and had a very determined expression on his face. However, his eyes sent chills down one's spine. Who knew how many shrewdness was hidden in them? Such an opponent could not be underestimated. Does this person have golden immortal cultivation? Yi Chun had his suspicions. Although the introduction of the golden word said that this person was a peak heavenly immortal, Yi Chun had some doubts about this introduction. Although it was good to obtain this information, he must not let this information restrict his judgment. Moreover, the opponent was able to lock onto him among the experts. This forced Yi Chun to reconsider. This person's judgment might be far above the others. There might even be more powerful experts hidden in this chess game. As the war god puppet attacked several times, the opponent's army began to suffer casualties. One of the combatants could not avoid the war god puppet's frontal attack and was severely injured by the war god puppet in the air. His body was crushed, and he died on the spot. Ha ha! Tyrant Wujiang, do you dare to fight me one-on-one? Seeing that the situation was good, Hua Qingyun became arrogant again, hoping to fight Tyrant Wujiang one-on-one. However, he was immediately opposed by the other experts. Hua Qingyun, if you lose, will suffer. You're the general. You can't act recklessly. That's right. The pressure from the experts made Hua Qingyun very unhappy. It was as if he would lose for sure. You have too many scruples. How can you understand my judgment? Get out of my way. Hua Qingyun flew out and charged at Tyrant Wujiang. Ha ha ha. Tyrant Wujiang revealed a disdainful and somewhat cold smile. Chapter 2267. Everyone saw the Crown Prince of Green Cloud taking the initiative to fight against Tyrant Wujiang. This was a battle of kings against kings. It was too dangerous. Once the Crown Prince was defeated, everyone would suffer a calamity. This wasn't an ending the spectators wanted to see. Hua Qingyun, don't go too far. Some powerhouses yelled and tried to stop him. However, Hua Qingyun was in a rage. The sword in his hand did not recognize anyone. As he swung it, powerful sword chi swept out in all directions like a sword dragon emerging from the sea. It was difficult to resist. The powerhouse knew that he was no match for Hua Qingyun. If he tried to stop him, he might die on the spot. It was not worth it. The powerhouses were very displeased with Hua Qingyun's actions. However, Yi Chun had no intention of stopping him. Instead, he closed his eyes and focused. No one knew what he was doing. War God Puppet looked at Yi Chun with a puzzled expression. However, he admired Yi Chun very much. At the same time, he believed that Yi Chun was not an ordinary person. Therefore, what he was doing was not ordinary. He also closed his eyes and focused, trying to understand Yi Chun's motives. At this moment, Yi Chun was sensing the mysteries of the chessboard beneath his feet. Ever since he had used his own identity to move around, he had sensed that his heavenly Tao cultivation base complemented this chessboard. The so-called commander's position was not the core of the chessboard's heavenly Tao. If Hua Qingyun failed, it might affect everyone else, but Yi Chun did not think that it was a sure-death situation. The 9 heavenly paths. Is this the true secret hidden in the battle? Yi Chun kept thinking. Through the ancient god space, he analyzed the chessboard image in his mind. In his mind, the 108 basic imprints kept flying, changing, and forging various heavenly Tao imprints. Using these imprints to compare and comprehend what he saw, Yi Chun wanted to find the true meaning of the 9 heavenly Tao. Kill. In the real battlefield, Hua Qingyun charged at Ba Wujiang. The battle was about to begin. Hua Qingyun, you want to kill me? What a joke. Ba Wujiang held his halberd like a river dragon. As he moved, wind and rain surged. His powerful aura swept the entire area. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The halberd gleam was like a dragon emerging from the sea, devouring madly. However, Hua Qingyun was not an ordinary person. The sword chi of the divine weapon in his hand surged. Ba Wujiang was not afraid at all. He flew forward with his halberd. Watching the battle between the 2 great generals, everyone stopped in their tracks and watched the battle of the century. Who do you guys think will win this battle? An expert asked. The other experts all sank into contemplation, and there were even some who laughed in disgust. At this time, no one from either camp took the initiative to attack. They were waiting for the outcome of the battle between He Jimin Unbounded and Hua Qingyun. Before the battle began, Tyrant Boundless had already given them enough confidence and told them to just wait for the results. However, Hua Qingyan didn't care about anything else and didn't put anyone else in his eyes at all. Therefore, the others weren't interested in caring about him. They just didn't want to be implicated by him. Tyrant Dragon opens the border. With a furious roar, Tyrant Unbounded Jiang brandished his halberd, stirring up the mountains and rivers. Strange signs appeared in heaven and earth as Xiantian energy poured into the halberd, summoning the god within it. With a single strike, it was like a gigantic mountain piercing into the heavens. Clang! Hua Qingyun's personality was too unyielding. Faced with such an opportunity for a head-on confrontation, how could he miss it? However, a sword against a halberd, wanting to rely on absolute power to win, was a fantasy in itself. Moreover, with Tyrant Unbounded Jiang's cultivation, even a heaven immortal would be destroyed with a single strike. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The divine weapons of both sides collided, constantly attacking each other, emitting countless starlight. These starlight vibrated in all directions, sweeping through the 9 heavens. Very soon, tens of thousands of stars flickered in the sky at the same time. It was precisely the power of the stars that kept pouring into the two's bodies. With such a number of stars, these two are worthy of being the strongest geniuses. That's right. If it was an ordinary heaven immortal, that strike just now would have killed him without a doubt. However, Hua Qingyun could actually use a divine sword to block the halberd head-on. With such cultivation, I'm afraid that even if I cultivated for thousands of years, I wouldn't be able to catch up. Yeah, these two are dragons and phoenixes among men. Let's just wait and see. Everyone revealed a look of envy. Tyrant Unbounded Jiang hid his strength well, and although Hua Qingyun was arrogant and despotic, his own strength was truly amazing. Such a confrontation, other than surprise, what else could they do? Seeing the battle between both sides becoming more and more intense, everyone began to have small calculations in their hearts. They all wanted to comprehend the 9 heavenly Daos, but among them, some could not even comprehend the 8 heavenly Daos. Entering this place was also a coincidence, and they were the ones who were in the most danger. They were thinking, even if they saw the 9 heavenly Daos, could they really comprehend them? And what did the immovable Wisdom King mean when he said that only one person could comprehend the 9 heavenly Daos? Could it be that only one person could survive? Kill. Hua Qingyun's eyes were bloodshot, and his state of madness was insufferably arrogant. Boundless sword chi rose, and the vast world was shocked. The Chu River Han boundary triggered a super strong flood that rushed straight towards Tyrant Unbounded Jiang. Insignificant skill. Facing such a grand divine ability, Tyrant Unbounded Jiang sneered, and the halberd in his hand directly stabbed into the ground. Suddenly, a wave of super strong xianqi was imbued into the Earth's veins, and the entire Earth's veins began to form a network. This was Tyrant Unbounded Jiang's formation. Hua Qingyun immediately felt that his feet had fallen into a strong suction force. Now, he was in a difficult situation, let alone chasing after the 8 generals. If that happened, his entire battle would fall into a tragedy, and he would never allow such a situation to happen. Emerald Cloud Sword, unsheathed. With a command, he pulled out his real divine weapon. It was the Emerald Cloud Heavenly Weapon, the most powerful divine sword. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Once the Emerald Cloud Sword was out, boundless sword gleams stirred up the wind and clouds, and many of the formations created by the Tyrant Halberd shattered one after another. It could not affect Hua Qingyun at all. At this point in the battle, it was a battle of life and death, and no one dared to be careless. Naturally, everyone was watching with great interest. Most of their thoughts were very simple. Whether Hua Qingyun or Tyrant Unbounded Jiang won, it was a good thing for them. After all, their goal was to comprehend the 9 heavenly Tao and to ensure one survival. Only Yi Chun was in a state of meditation. As the battle progressed, Yi Chun took longer to comprehend the 9 heavenly Tao. He could vaguely feel that the heavenly Tao and the human Tao were just a matter of a thought. Tyrant Halberd conquers the frontiers. No mercy from heaven and earth. Seeing that Hua Qingyun had unleashed his ultimate divine ability, Tyrant unbounded Zhang's brows tightened. Flames surrounded the sky, and he waved the halberd in his hand several times, which contained 8 heavens and his own heavenly immortal law. Rumble! However, there was a shocking explosion. Hua Qingyun's sword chi was broken by the halberd gleam, and it even broke through the sword net in an instant, heading straight for Hua Qingyun's throat. Chapter 2268. Looking at the halberd light flying towards him, Hua Qingyun fell into an extreme crisis. He had never felt such fear before, but at this moment, it actually accurately rushed into the depths of his soul. Such a scene caused Hua Qingyun to instantly freeze. At this moment, Yi Chen suddenly opened his eyes and pointed his sword at the sky. At the same time, the identity chess piece under his feet emitted a murderous gleam. Together with Yi Chen's sword chi, he rushed in the battlefield. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sword chi collided and sparks flew everywhere. Tyrant Wujiang's halberd gleam was broken by Yi Chen's sword chi. Everyone was shocked. Impossible. The powerhouses looked at Yi Chen in shock. He was still sitting on the chess piece, and his body gradually floated into the air, breaking the halberd with one sword strike. Such power shocked everyone. After all, he had just fought against Tyrant Wujiang, a general. How'd he do it? Even Hua Qingyun couldn't resist the halberd gleam. How did Yi Chen break the sword chi? Such doubts were not only voiced by one person. All the powerhouses had the same question. Only Tyrant Wujiang revealed an amused smile. He had long seen that Yi Chen was not an ordinary person. He was far from these so-called geniuses before him. If he wanted to obtain the 9th level heavenly Tao, he had to defeat Yi Chen. Ha ha! Yi Chen, it seems that you've learned to integrate the identity chess piece's energy. Yi Chen was shocked when he heard that. It was obvious that the other party was telling him that the other party had figured that out a long time ago. If that was the case, Tyrant Wujiang's talent was far above the powerhouses. The scene of the two of them looking at each other appeared in Yi Chen's mind again. He was sure that this person would be his greatest opponent. Tyrant Wujiang, it seems that you've long understood the true meaning. You're full of confidence now. Yi Chen replied. I wouldn't dare. Yi Chen, as a mysterious immortal, you have the ability to kill a heavenly immortal. Your talent really shocks me. So humble, but hypocritical. To be able to understand the magic of the chess piece before me, it seems that your cultivation base is also above everyone's imagination, right? The two of them looked at each other and revealed strange smiles, causing the surrounding experts to sink into great confusion. This was because they had no idea what the two of them were talking about. What was the profoundness of the identity chess piece? However, it was clear that the two of them had directly ignored the others. This attitude caused the experts to reveal looks of dissatisfaction. After all, those who could reach here were all outstanding geniuses of the various great cosmoses. They had their own dignity and bearing. They were definitely not people who could be ignored. This was especially so for Hua Qingyun. As the commander, he should have been the center of attention. Now that everyone was looking at Yi Chen and the boundless tyrant, he seemed to be dispensable. Such humiliation was much harder to swallow than being suppressed by the boundless tyrant on the battlefield. He suddenly turned around to look at Yi Chen and said angrily, Brat, who asked you to attack? I'm going to kill this person right away. Kill this person? Ha ha, Crown Prince Royal Azure, you're just trying to cover your ears. Are all you idiots? Yi Chen looked at the crowd with a sneer. The other experts all revealed looks of disdain. They already had a problem with Hua Qingyun taking the initiative to challenge the boundless tyrant. Now, that Hua Qingyun wanted to brag for the sake of his reputation. Such behavior naturally did not attract the attention of the others. Hua Qingyun, save it. If it weren't for you taking the initiative to attack and exposing the weakness of our formation, we might have won long ago. Yes, you took the initiative to attack the unfathomable boundless tyrant. Look at you now, you were almost killed by him. If it weren't for Yi Chen, I'm afraid you would have been killed. Ha ha, As a dignified commander, you're so impulsive. You don't care about the safety of the people at all. What qualifications do you have to be the commander? You'd better leave. The experts expressed their dissatisfaction with Hua Qingyun one after another. They did not help him against Yi Chun. Hua Qingyun did not expect such a situation. It was obvious that he was suppressed during the battle with the boundless tyrant. Such a situation made everyone think that he was not a match for the boundless tyrant at all. You. Hua Qingyun revealed an angry expression, but no one cared. Yi Chun, what have you learned? Tell everyone now. This is my order. Suddenly, he changed the topic and pointed the spearhead at Yi Chun again. However, this time, changing the topic worked. After all, everyone wanted to know how Yi Chun fought against the boundless tyrant. Order? Ridiculous. Yi Chun laughed out loud. He did not take Hua Qingyun seriously at all. Such an action clearly angered Hua Qingyun, or perhaps he gritted his teeth. He had just suffered a loss on the battlefield, and now he was being mocked by Yi Chun. This was not the result he wanted. The****. Hua Qingyun's eyes turned cold. Sword Qi shot out again and charged at Yi Chun. Powerful heavenly immortal laws combined with the divine weapons, Sword Qi. At such a close distance, everyone thought that Yi Chun would not be able to withstand it. However, soon, everyone saw a stunning scene again. Yi Chun condensed his sword Qi and lifted his hand slightly. In an instant, the chess piece under his feet emitted 6 rays of red light, condensing into a sword rainbow. It soared into the sky, overflowing with light and colors. It spun like a flying dragon descending to the world, instantly circling around Hua Qingyun's sword Qi. Hua Qingyun's sword Qi that was filled with peak heavenly immortal laws instantly shattered and turned into nothingness. Yi Chun only condensed his sword Qi, and the power he unleashed shocked everyone again. What was going on? No matter what, they could not believe that Yi Chun could unleash such terrifying sword Qi with his own strength. The heavenly way of carriage combined with his own sword Qi is monstrous. Just as everyone was discussing among themselves and feeling puzzled, Tyrant Wujiang spoke. Everyone's hearts trembled. However, from Tyrant Wujiang's words, it was obvious that Yi Chun had relied on the power of a status chess piece. The chess piece. Everyone looked at the chess piece under their feet with a solemn expression. Many of them closed their eyes and focused, trying to sense what mysterious power existed in the chess piece that could make Yi Chun so powerful. However, no matter how hard they tried, they could not sense any movement in it. Such a situation made those powerhouses extremely angry. They were all geniuses. Why could Yi Chun do it, but they could not? However, there were some talented people who saw that there was some kind of mental cultivation method hidden in the chess piece. This mental cultivation method was the key to unlocking the chess piece's mystery. Many people sat cross-legged on the chess piece and began to comprehend it. The grand scene of the previous chaotic battle was now completely silent. All the powerhouses focused on the chess piece, even forgetting their own mission. However, seeing such a scene, the immovable Wisdom King did not intervene. It was obvious that this was also a part of the Buddha Emperor's game. Yi Chun, Tyrant Wujiang, 2 geniuses. Let's see what happens next. Above the 9 heavens, the immovable Wisdom King looked at the whole situation. End of this chapter. Chapter 2269. Seeing the powerhouses sitting cross-legged and comprehending the mysteries of the chess pieces, Hua Qingyun understood that there was no good result in targeting Yi Chun. It was better to comprehend the mysteries of the chess pieces. The chess piece under his feet was the commander. Once this power was comprehended, would he obtain the power to restrain the other chess pieces or even defeat Ba Wujiang? This was not a fantasy. I was born extraordinary. Once I've comprehended the commander position, it's time for you to bow your heads. After speaking, Hua Qingyun fell into a state of comprehension. The atmosphere changed instantly. It was not only Hua Qingyun's side, but also Ba Wujiang's side. The powerhouses had also fallen into the same state. Only Yi Chun and Ba Wujiang looked at each other. There was an unfathomable look in their eyes. Then, their primordial spirits left their bodies at the same time and used the Buddha Emperor chessboard to enter the alternate space. Above the expectation, Yi Chun and Bao Wujiang were facing each other. Yi Chun, I didn't misjudge you. You've comprehended the true meaning of the chessboard. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to enter this alternate space. Bao Wujiang, we're different from the rest. However, before me, you can only be my servant. Ha ha ha. Bao Wujiang laughed. He had always been a madman, but after meeting Yi Chun today, he realized that Yi Chun's craziness surpassed his. However, there could only be one winner in this game of chess. Their eyes suddenly turned cold. In the surrounding space, endless energy flowed and spread. This energy was very strange. Its attributes were constantly changing. Unless one was extremely talented, one could not use it at all. Bao Wujiang acted first and absorbed the power of the 5 soldiers. Because at this moment, the 5 pawns were comprehending the mysteries of the 5 pawns. The deeper they comprehended, the more energy Tyrant Wujiang would be able to absorb. This was the true mystery of the chessboard. Everyone was a chess piece. Only the controller would be able to reap the benefits. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Accompanied by bursts of light, Bao Wujiang's body emitted a strange light. All this power was absorbed and refined by him. These people are too weak. This bit of power is not enough. Bao Wujiang showed a greedy expression and shouted angrily. At this time, Yi Chun also saw that the power of 5 weapons was brewing and circulating above his expectations. However, he did not absorb and use it directly. Instead, he let them continue to cultivate. I originally thought that my opponent would be the marshal, but when I saw you, I knew that Hu Qingyun was no match for you. This arrangement is just a game played by the Buddha Emperor. There is no difference between a marshal or not. Only those who have comprehended the 9 levels of heavenly Tao can make use of these chess pieces. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Bao Wujiang thought that he was the ruler of everything. As long as he killed Yi Chun and obtained the power of all the chess pieces, he would be the most talented person in the universe. Even if he ascended to the heaven realm, he would still be the strongest genius. Yi Chun, you're destined to die in my hands. Accept your fate. Seeing that Yi Chun had not absorbed the power of 5 soldiers for a long time, Bao Wujiang thought that he had found Yi Chun's weakness. As long as he used the power of 5 soldiers to strike first, Yi Chun would definitely lose. His eyes flashed, and the halberd in his hand glowed once again. The powerful halberd light activated the power of the 5 soldiers, and it was unstoppable. Clang! Just as the halberd light was about to kill Yi Chun raised his hand slightly. Suddenly, a grand hand seal caught the halberd light, preventing it from moving forward. In the sky, sparks flew everywhere, and the stars shook. The powerful energy shattered the void, forming a battle between 2 powerhouses. Impossible! Bao Wujiang was shocked. The attack just now used the power of 5 soldiers. Yi Chun could not have blocked it. However, at this moment, Bao Wujiang realized that the chess piece under Yi Chun's feet was continuously transforming the power of heavenly Tao into Yi Chun's meridians. It was invincible chariot, peerless way of the sword. So what? Take this halberd. When Bao Wujiang saw the source of Yi Chun's power, he activated his chess piece and flew up to the 9 heavens. With one strike, he broke through the sword chi that had resisted the power of 5 soldiers. With the return of the power of 5 soldiers, Bao Wujiang strength soared, and he charged straight at Yi Chun. Power of 5 soldiers. At this moment, Yi Chun finally used the power of 5 soldiers. Suddenly, 5 rays of sword chi flew out of the chess piece and turned into 5 streams of light, supporting Yi Chun. At the same time, the swimming dragon sword was unsheathed. What? The heaven-grade weapon was unsheathed and supported by the power of 5 soldiers. The power of the sword was impressive, evolving into the 5 elements sword array and fighting in the starry sky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 5 elements sword had all evolved into the 9 layers of heavenly Tao. The power of the sword was not something that Hu Qingyun and the others could compare to. Yi Chun's strength was already overwhelming. Clang, clang, clang. In the blink of an eye, only the sharp and unparalleled sword Qi could be seen, activating the light of the five element stars and charging forward. Bao Wujiang brandished his halberd, wanting to counterattack. However, when his halberd collided with Yi Chen's sword Qi, he realized that all his previous calculations had failed. Yi Chen's understanding of the nine heavenly Tao might have exceeded his imagination. Dual cannons attacked together. At this time, Bao Wujiang activated the power of the dual cannons. In an instant, the halberd light shook the heavens, and its power filled the nine heavens. Kill! With a furious roar, the majestic halberd light locked onto Yi Chen's figure and could not be avoided. Good timing. However, Yi Chen was not afraid at all. He waved the swimming dragon sword and 9 dragons counterattacked. Dual soaring elephants, dragon and elephant Prajna, the heavenly spirit Buddha's figure appeared again. His Buddhist divine technique bloomed endlessly. The dragon and elephant Prajna was powerful and boundless. Its power countered Bao Wujiang's. Dragon roars sounded and instantly broke Bao Wujiang's halberd light. Rumble. There was an earth-shattering explosion. The starry sky cracked, and the entire space fell into nothingness. Bao Wujiang screamed and was pushed hundreds of feet away by the dragon and elephant force. He could not have imagined such a situation. TCH, TCH, TCH. His fingers dug into the ground and drew bloody marks on the chessboard. Then sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Waves of the chessboard's power turned into lightning and was constantly absorbed by Bao Wujiang. He had lost his patience. His cultivation base was far above Yi Chen's. This time, he did not want to delay any longer. He wanted a boring victory. Yi Chen, you're very strong, and I like you very much. However, I don't have time to play with you. Die. Above him, the heavenly path power contained in all the chess pieces gathered toward Bao Wujiang. At this moment, the light of the 9 heavenly paths condensed above his head. The Bao Wujiang stood tall and absorbed the heavenly path power. He was like a god descending, unparalleled. Ha ha ha. Accompanied by wild laughter, Bao Wujiang displayed his true strength. He was a half-step golden immortal. Seeing that his opponent's strength had soared 100 times, Yi Chen did not dare to be careless. He no longer held back the ancient god's body. The black tortoise revealed itself. The heavenly path power around the chessboard was absorbed by the black tortoise and gathered. Ha, it's useless, Yi Chen. I'm a half-step golden immortal. The power my body can store is far above yours. Do you really think you can absorb all the chess pieces' heavenly path? Dream on. Chapter 2270. Tyrant Wujiang believed that his foundation was invincible. Although Yi Chen was talented, he was no match for him in terms of absorbing and refining the heavenly way of the entire chessboard. Therefore, he wanted to use this method to exhaust Yi Chen. Yi Chen, you've sensed the vigorous heavenly way's power in my body. It's above yours, and as time passes, it'll only develop to this level. Yi Chen, admit defeat. I'll give you a chance to live. Become my subordinate. How about that? Tyrant Wujiang believed himself to be invincible, but he admired Yi Chen's ability and hoped that Yi Chen would become his subordinate. Under such circumstances, this seemed to be Yi Chen's only choice. However, Yi Chen did not care about this at all. At the same time, if there was a ruler in this world, it would be himself. Rumble. Suddenly, heaven and earth shook and the sun and moon dimmed. Behind Yi Chen, a majestic ancient god shadow appeared. Above the ancient god was the all things returned to origin, the heavenly furnace. Tyrant Wujiang, you're too arrogant. You don't understand what kind of person your opponent is. Although you're slightly better than those idiots, you still can't measure me. If you think that your foundation is invincible, then I'll show you how insignificant you are. Yi Chen's eyes were cold and unparalleled. Ancient god power flowed throughout his body. He pointed his sword at the sky, and suddenly, a wave of sword energy rushed toward the heavenly furnace. As if commanded, a wild wolf rolled in the furnace and lava flew into the sky. Then, all the heavenly way of the commander's side flowed into the heavenly furnace. If I don't believe it. You're courting death. I don't believe that your foundation is better than mine. I'll wait for your painful death. Then I'll have to disappoint you. Yi Chun continued to absorb the heavenly way, and his absorption speed was even faster than Tyrant Wujiang's. This phenomenon made the latter somewhat flustered, but he still believed in his judgment. According to Yi Chun's mystic immortal rank, it was impossible for Yi Chun to compete with him in terms of foundation. Yi Chun was bluffing. The heavenly way of both sides flowed toward their respective directions. The power of flame and the power of darkness formed a sharp contrast. Inside the furnace, the heavenly way's power constantly stirred the wind and clouds. Heat waves surged. Yi Chun felt endless power gathering. Boom, boom, boom. At the same time, Tyrant Unbounded's body continued to emit explosive sounds. His figure gradually grew taller, and his muscles became more and more muscular. It was as if he had transformed into a bear man. It was extremely terrifying. On Yi Chun's side, all the energy pressure was not directed directly to his main body. Instead, it rushed into the heavenly Tao furnace. In this way, Yi Chun could wholeheartedly absorb the heavenly Tao energy after the lotus flower. This was the essential difference between him and the boundless tyrant. Just when the unparalleled tyrant thought that he had absorbed enough heavenly energy, the truth was that the unparalleled tyrant had only absorbed heavenly energy. Yi Chun, on the other hand, had absorbed the essence of heavenly energy. Unbounded tyrant roared in anger. He seemed to have reached his limit in absorbing all the power in his body. He began to circulate his power, hoping to kill his opponent with a single strike. At the same time, he was also using his own power to absorb more power. Boom! There was a shocking explosion as the tyrant halberd in Bao Wujiang's hand suddenly swept across. Instantly, a halberd ray that was like a meteor between heaven and earth attacked Yi Chun with a sky full of black flames. Meanwhile, on Yi Chun's side, his entire body was emitting golden flames like a newborn sun. His might was unparalleled. Heavenly sword edge. Yi Chun pointed with his sword finger. Instantly, the golden flames became the heavenly sword edge, pointing straight ahead. The majestic flaming sword ray filled the sky and instantly collided with the tyrant halberd's ray. For a moment, the heavenly Tao of both sides clashed and collided. All sorts of shocking explosions rang out continuously as if the entire sky had become their battlefield. In the face of such great power, countless stars were shattered. The light caused by the explosion spread out to the extreme limits of the eight desolates. Impossible, impossible. The unparalleled tyrant saw that both sides were evenly matched. This was not the result he had expected. In his heart, the power of this attack could completely crush Yi Chun. This was because the heavenly Tao he had absorbed before had reached the limit of his own foundation. Using such a powerful ultimate attack, it was impossible for Yi Chun to block it. However, the result before him was completely different from what he had imagined. Not only did Yi Chun block it, but he also seemed to be very relaxed. This was even more strange. What did you do? How can you use so little power to resist my power? The unparalleled tyrant finally could not help but ask. Ha ha ha, idiot! Yi Chun laughed coldly and shouted, Idiot! Although the unparalleled tyrant was furious, he endured it for the sake of knowing the answer and waited for Yi Chun's response. Seeing that the unparalleled tyrant wanted to know the answer, Yi Chun did not hide it. He wanted to let the unparalleled tyrant know how shallow he was. The power of the heavenly way that I've absorbed is the essence of the heavenly way that I've refined through the cosmos furnace. A portion of my power is equivalent to a portion of yours. Therefore, no matter how much power you absorb, it's useless. Hearing this, the unparalleled tyrant's eyes bulged and his heart trembled. His eyes emitted a black light as he looked at the heavenly furnace. He saw that the furnace had gathered thousands of heavenly Tao's power. This power was much more than the unparalleled tyrant had absorbed. The endless heavenly Tao essence was fused into Yi Chun's body through the furnace. This is unbelievable. The heavenly furnace is so magical. The body of an ancient god is really invincible. For the first time, the unparalleled tyrant doubted his own talent. As the most powerful person among the general ranks, was he really going to lose to Yi Chun? All the unwillingness constantly attacked his heart. He would never allow anyone to surpass him. Ah! With a roar, the unparalleled tyrant activated his overlord body. Suddenly, the wind and clouds around him changed. Countless halberd gleams circled around his body. Bestial roars shook the earth, and the beasts panicked. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Following that, the powerful heavenly Tao transformed into a storm and continuously surged into the unparalleled tyrant's body. All the meridians in his body appeared. Energy like black blood surged in these meridians. The unparalleled tyrant's power increased more than 100 times. Seeing this scene, Yi Chen's eyes turned slightly cold. In order to defeat him, the person before him had broken through his limits and achieved the overlord body that was comparable to a god. Seeing that the unparalleled tyrant was absorbing the heavenly Tao's power from the chessboard, Yi Chun activated his dark divine power at the same time. Dual yin and yang flames appeared in the furnace. Above the furnace, the Tai Chi yin-yang diagram appeared. Suddenly, the two heavenly Tao on the chessboard turned into yin and yang dragons and surged wildly into the heavenly furnace. Boom, boom, boom. Inside the furnace, the world was turned upside down. It was indescribable, as if chaos had been restarted. Chapter 2271. Following the activation of the double god power, Yi Chen's power changed qualitatively. The heavenly cauldron was like an endless abyss, swallowing all the heavenly Tao power of the commander-in-chief. Overlord Halberd, shatter. Seeing that Yi Chen's power was soaring, Tyrant Wu Jiang no longer hesitated. The Tyrant Halberd's sharp edge streaked across the sky, pointing directly at Yi Chun. The combination of the Overlord body and the Tyrant Halberd gave off a majestic aura that could shake the heavens and earth and destroy stars. Kill! With a shout, heaven and earth shook as the Tyrant Halberd descended. Boom! The surrounding space rapidly compressed and collapsed. There was no power that could resist the might of the Tyrant Halberd. In the face of such a powerful attack, Yi Chen's eyes turned slightly cold. His entire body released ancient god power and nether god power at the same time. The dual god power stirred the wind and clouds. In the cosmic furnace, the strongest heavenly path energy was infused. Boundless tyrant, I'll make you concede defeat wholeheartedly. The phantoms of the ancient god and the underworld god appeared behind Yi Chun. His 4 arms were like the pillars of the heavens. They stretched forward and instantly grabbed the halberd ray in the sky. No matter how strong the halberd was, it could not move an inch in front of the 4 pillars. Impossible. The unbounded tyrant unleashed all the heavenly Tao energy in his body. This was his strongest attack. He wanted to kill Yi Chun with this attack. Otherwise, he would fail. Clang, clang, clang. His 4 arms propped up the sky, the power of the 9 accumulations supporting him. The might of the 2 deities was even greater than before. Combined with the power of the heavenly Tao of the martial position, he was impregnable and fearless. Under such a powerful impact, the halberd radiance began to crumble. Then, it was suddenly gripped by the 2 godly hands. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Under the tyrannical pressure, the halberd light exploded. Boundless energy surged out in all directions, causing countless stars to explode, creating even stronger energy shockwaves. The entire starry sky was shaken and uneasy. Get lost! Yi Chun let out a furious roar as his dual god powers erupted. The might of the heavenly Tao was used to judge those who did not submit. Only the heavenly emperor was eternal. Tyrant Unbounded's body was like a kite with a broken string. He was sent flying by the twin divine powers. All the meridians in his body were in a mess, and the power of the heavenly law scattered from his body. Universe Furnace. At this moment, Yi Chun summoned the cosmic furnace. Its powerful homologous suction force caused the scattered heavenly path energy to gather again and guide it into the cosmic furnace. The furnace exploded in the sky, revealing the strongest 9 heavenly Taos. Z. Following the fusion of the furnace and Yi Qin's ancient god body, all the essence of the ninefold heaven Tao was also under Yi Qin's control. The chessboard suddenly exploded, and Yi Qin and Tyrant Wujiang returned to reality. Ah! Puff! Boundless Tyrant spat out a mouthful of blood, and his whole body trembled. When the general saw this scene, they all stood up and asked Qin Wentian what exactly had happened. The experts still didn't know that while they were comprehending the power of the chess pieces, the ultimate battle had already ended. Meanwhile, on Yi Qin's side, the ninth heaven Tao converged and the entire chessboard obeyed his commands. Yi Qin, you've already obtained the 9 heavenly Tao. Now, you can deal with the remaining people as you please. A Buddhist voice rang out. It was the immovable Wisdom King. Hearing this, all the powerhouses were shocked. They did not know what had happened, but Tyrant Wujiang looked at Yi Qin coldly, revealing a look of unwillingness. Boundless Tyrant, what's going on? What's the situation right now? Facing the crowd's confusion, Bao Wujiang gnashed his teeth in anger. Then, he told them that he had been defeated in the ultimate battle. Hearing such an unbelievable thing, all the powerhouses fell into a panic. If Yi Qin controlled the 9th heaven Tao and the entire chessboard obeyed his commands, wouldn't they all become fish on the chopping board? Now, whether it was the marshal or the generals, all the powerhouses regarded Yi Qin as an anomaly and revealed a cautious expression. However, Yi Qin's goal was to obtain the 9th heaven Tao. In this trip to the 9th level techniques, he had obtained the dragon taming spear, the hell blood orchid, the 3-headed blood python, the samadhi stone spirit, and the 9th heaven Tao. He was already the person with the most bountiful harvest. Dealing with the powerhouses of the universe was meaningless. Since I've accepted the Buddha Emperor's 9th heaven Tao, the immovable Wisdom King, is everything within the 9th level techniques under my control? As expected of the celestial Emperor Yi Qin. Such ambition, but you're right. Everything left behind by the Buddha Emperor, including us extraditors, will listen to your commands. With that, the immovable Wisdom King pointed to the sky. Instantly, a spatial door opened, and the 3 extraditors walked out. In the current situation, Yi Qin had the absolute upper hand. However, how could the powerhouses be willing to lose the 9th heaven Tao? F***CK, Yi Qin, you betrayed us and obtained the 9th heaven Tao. You're our enemy. The first to step out was Hua Qingyun. As the Emperor Qingyun's son, he did not obtain the 9th heaven Tao. This was a humiliation to him. Moreover, he did not defeat the boundless tyrant, but Yi Qin defeated him. This was also a humiliation. Now, if he did not target Yi Qin, what was the point of his existence? When the powerhouses heard this, they nodded. The 9th heaven Tao was the most important. Yi Qin had obtained both the marshal and general positions. Their anger could not be concealed. Yi Qin, hand over the 9th heaven Tao. The powerhouses roared. After all, they were the strongest prodigies from the various universes. When they gathered together, they did not believe that Yi Qin could defeat them. In the face of such a confrontation, Yi Qin only smiled coldly. Before, the immovable Wisdom King had already said that Yi Qin was now the king of the 9th Law Realm. Who would have thought that these people would join forces against him for the 9th heaven Tao? There was no chance of victory here. Do you really want to deal with me? What heavenly emperor? Immediately hand over the 9th heaven Tao and all the treasures. Otherwise, you'll die without a burial place. The powerhouses joined forces and stood together. As the boundless tyrant had been seriously injured by Yi Qin in the battle in the alternate space, the entire alliance was now led by Hua Qingyun. Yi Qin do, as we say, immediately. Hua Qingyun shouted angrily. Previously, he had been suppressed by Yi Qin many times. Now he wanted to find himself and his dignity. However, he did not know that he was not qualified to face Yi Qin at all. Impudent. With a roar, the immovable Wisdom King's fury descended. The entire space shook. Following that, powerful Buddha energy mixed together and went straight for Hua Qingyun. Qingyun's sword. Hua Qingyun held the divine weapon in his hand and pointed the tip of the sword. Suddenly, an immortal sword energy shot up to the 9 heavens, clashing with the immovable Wisdom King's palm. The powerhouses saw the sound of Buddha above the 9 heavens like a mountain falling. Hua Qingyun's sword energy was extinguished instantly. Such a scene shocked the workers. This is impossible. Hua Qingyun naturally did not believe what he saw. Humph, in the 9th law realm, you want to go against the Buddha? You're seeking death. The immovable Wisdom King's words finally made the powerhouses realize that fighting in this place was the opponent's home ground. They could not gain the slightest advantage. Chapter 2272. Hua Qingyun, you've targeted me many times. This time, I'll give you a chance to fight me one-on-one. Do you dare? At that moment, Yi Chun walked forward with an evil smile on his lips as he faced Hua Qingyun directly. As soon as he said that, all the powerhouses looked at Hua Qingyun. This was a good opportunity to kill Yi Chun. As long as Yi Chun died, the 9-fold heavenly Tao would once again fall into a masterless state. This was the result they wanted to see. By then, even the immovable Wisdom King and the 3 venerable ones would once again fall into a masterless state. Therefore, the powerhouses hoped that Hua Qingyun would accept the challenge. Hua Qingyun, who had always been arrogant, hesitated at that moment. After all, this was a matter of life and death. The conditions did not allow him to be so reckless. After all, Yi Chun had defeated Tyrant Wujiang. Of course, as a peerless genius, he also realized that the benefits of taking risks were extremely high. As long as he defeated Yi Chun, he could dominate everything. He could even become the master of the immovable Wisdom King and the 3 venerable ones. Just thinking about it felt good. Hua Qingyun, what are you thinking about? Agree now. Yes. Kill this person, and we're willing to give you the 9th heaven Tao. Yi Chun is arrogant and invincible. He must be punished. Hua Qingyun, you're the emperor of the Emerald Cloud sect. Are you going to retreat? The pressure from the powerhouses made it difficult for Hua Qingyun to withstand it. Beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. Yi Chun looked at Hua Qingyun with a cold smile, waiting for his response. Hua Qingyun, you're from the Feiyun universe. You don't even dare to accept such a challenge? All right, just kneel and count out to me 3,000 times, and I'll let you leave alive. Hua Qingyun was completely enraged when he heard that. A dignified emperor had to suffer such humiliation. If he forced himself to endure it, he would not have the face to return to the Feiyun universe. He suddenly turned to look at Yi Chun with a murderous expression. Yi Chun, don't think that you're invincible just because you defeated Tyrant Wujiang. You haven't seen my true strength. Then come. What are you waiting for? You want to make an example out of me, but I won't let you do that. Ha ha ha. Yi Chun laughed maniacally and flew down. Then he waved his arms, and the space around him shook violently. Immediately, an ancient battlefield was drawn out just like that. The imposing aura caused all the experts in the surroundings to retreat and become spectators. Ha ha ha. Yi Chun, did you really not see through the fact that I was hiding my strength? Since you took the initiative to challenge me, I'll let you see the difference between the Feiyun cosmos and the other cosmoses. Since he was on the battlefield, then Hua Qingyun could no longer endure and completely liberated himself. As a disciple of the Clear Sky sect, what he had to do this time was very simple. It was to regain his confidence, kill his enemies, and obtain the 9 levels of Sky Tao. Yi Chun smiled faintly in the face of Hua Qingyun's domineering words and did not respond. Since his opponent said that he wanted to make an example out of him, he would do it for everyone to see. At the same time, it would also prove the crushing power of the 9 heavenly Tao. The 9-fold heavenly Tao in Yi Chun's body had absorbed the power from the 2 chessboards of the martial position and the general position. It was the complete Buddha Emperor's heavenly Tao. Kill! His eyes shone with a sharp light, which turned into sword chi and rushed towards Hua Qingyun. Good timing. Hua Qingyun's brows tightened. With the divine weapon in hand, the emerald cloud sword swung. Wherever the blade passed, nothing could not be destroyed. Boom, boom, boom. In the blink of an eye, the sword gleam in Yi Chun's eyes shattered. In a battle between powerhouses, the winner could be decided as soon as it began. Facing Hua Qingyun, who was counterattacking, Yi Chen did not panic at all and fought alone. Ha ha, how do you feel? Yi Chen, is my current ability different from before? Ha, it's different indeed, but the result won't change. Is that so? Hua Qingyun's lips curled into a cold smile. The emerald cloud, sword in his hand, emitted mysterious light. Like a meteor chasing after the moon, it was so fast that it could not be blinked. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 rays of sword chi rushed out. Yi Chen saw that his vision instantly became blurry. At the same time, the feedback in the surrounding space was greatly disrupted. These 3 rays of sword chi were not meant to kill Yi Chen, but to disrupt his senses. In this space, they were building a sword realm that belonged to Hua Qingyun. Although it was ingenious, it could not escape Yi Chen's eyes. You want to fight me with this arrangement? Hua Qingyun, you're underestimating the 9 heavenly Tao. Just as Hua Qingyun was puzzled, Yi Chen's body emitted golden light, and the Buddha Emperor's shadow appeared. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Buddha's light soared into the sky, and the power of the heavenly Tao covered everything. The powerful Buddha Emperor's shadow descended, and the complete 9 heavenly Tao finally descended into the world. A powerful aura waved out and instantly broke the sword realm of mystic light before him. Boom, boom, boom. The sword realm was shattered on the spot. Hua Qingyun's body trembled, and he took a few steps back. I have the majesty of the Buddha Emperor and cannot be violated. His heart trembled and his eyes lost focus. Hua Qingyun did not expect the power of the 9 heavenly Tao to be so powerful. It was on a completely different level from the 8 heavenly Tao. It's just a release, and it has such power. Is this the power of the 9 heavenly Tao? It's too powerful. It can actually summon the Buddha Emperor's shadow. Hua Qingyun, what are you waiting for? You're a true heavenly immortal cultivator. Are you afraid of a mystic immortal? When the powerhouses saw the power of the 9 heavenly Tao, the greed in their hearts took over. They did not care how powerful Yi Chen was anymore. They only wanted Hua Qingyun now. Even if they lost their lives, they had to kill Yi Chen. This was his greatest value to the powerhouses. Hearing the powerhouses' words, Hua Qingyun naturally knew what they were thinking. This was also what he was thinking. However, Yi Chen's power was far beyond his imagination. If he really wanted to win, the price he had to pay would be unimaginably huge. Ha ha! Hua Qingyun, let me tell you, as long as you can destroy me, then the 9 heavenly Tao will immediately belong to you. It will even completely repair the damage to your body. Therefore, you don't have to worry about it being taken away. This is your best chance. Huh? Are you telling the truth? Of course. I have no reason to lie to you. Ah, Yi Chen, you've revealed the most secret you shouldn't have. I'll make you understand that underestimating me is the most unwise thing you can do. Hearing this, Hua Qingyun's battle intense sword. Mysterious light and sword chi surrounded his body, and the emerald cloud sword in his hand shattered. Huh? The powerhouses were shocked. They were all thinking that Hua Qingyun had broken his own divine weapon. However, within this emerald cloud sword, a new divine weapon appeared. It was the mystic sword. Mystic sword kill. As soon as the mystic sword appeared, heaven and earth radiated with light. The heavenly Buddha's light from before could not cover its radiance. Made of sword chi, it was invincible. At the same time, with the support of the mystic sword, Hua Qingyun's foundation rose rapidly. He had the power to rival a golden immortal. Chapter 2273. Seeing this situation, those who had been intimidated by Yi Chen before immediately became excited. They did not expect Hua Qingyun to have such a trump card. In this case, they might even be able to turn defeat into victory. At that time, both of them would be heavily injured at the same time. Would it not be perfect? The powerhouses all shouted, Hua Qingyun, we all believe in you. Kill this arrogant person. That's right. Yi Chen is just a madman in the chaotic universe. Meeting you now is courting death. So the legend of the unparalleled sword is true. I really didn't expect it. Hua Qingyun, You're the #1 genius. Finish this person quickly. The powerhouses were now very confident. As long as Hua Qingyun performed as usual, then Yi Chun would not be his match. Once the profound sword was out, who could compete with it? Sensing the powerful sword might on the profound sword, Yi Chen's eyes focused. The divine power around him circulated, and a heavenly Tao gathered from all directions. He understood that Hua Qingyun had been reborn. His strength was probably above Tyrant Wujiang. Yi Chen, how is it? Hua Qingyun flew above the 9 heavens. His eyes glowed red like a god of war from hell. On the profound sword, unparalleled power gradually gathered, triggering the foundation of his body to ascend. He still had strength close to golden immortal. This was the level of heavenly tribulation. Interesting. This should be the last value you bring to me. It's just a little fun, betting on such a powerful opponent. Yet Yi Chun said it was just a little more fun. Such an attitude made the powerhouses of the universe unable to believe their ears. Even if they knew everything, the current Hua Qingyun was no longer the same as before. His strength had reached the heavens. Now, even the immovable Wisdom King and the 3 venerable ones might not be his match. Yet Yi Chun was still so arrogant and unruly. This was too much. Even the immovable Wisdom King and the 3 venerable ones who were watching the battle in the sky looked nervous. Lord Wisdom King, do you think Yi Chun can defeat Hua Qingyun in his current state? The first venerable one asked. According to Yi Chen's strength, he has mastered the 9 heavenly Tao. Defeating Hua Qingyun before was not a problem. However, Hua Qingyun's strength is above Tyrant Wujiang. We can't even see his true strength. The outcome is unknown. The 3 venerable ones looked conflicted. Originally, finding their master was one of their greatest values, but it seemed that Yi Chun might not win. Once Yi Chun was defeated, they might have to change masters. This situation was not good for them. Alas, we can only resign ourselves to fate. The venerable ones shook their heads slightly. They could only watch Yi Chen's performance. Currently, Hua Qingyun was berserk and invincible on the main battlefield. The light from the profound sword suppressed the Buddhist light, and the entire space fell into the domain of the profound sword. The powerful black sword constantly flew through the sky, ready to kill at any moment. Unparalleled profound sword. Ink stains the world. Hua Qingyun knew that he could not maintain his profound sword state for long, so he could only end the battle quickly. Sensing the unimaginably powerful sword qi, Yi Chen's eyes turned slightly cold. He had also realized this. Hua Qingyun wanted to fight to the death right from the start. Hua Qingyun, you're too impatient. Yi Chun smiled lightly as the dragon-restraining spear appeared in his hand again. 9 bolts of thunder god, lightning rush Dharma idol. Yi Chun brandished the dragon-taming spear. Instantly, the wind and thunder between heaven and earth surged and howled. The spear ray spiraled and the 6 bolting thunder dharma forms surged out rapidly, blocking the space 1,000 feet in front of Yi Chun. It's useless. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The ink-colored sword qi surged between heaven and earth, and the boundless sword ray broke through everything. Although Yi Chen's bolting thunder dharma forms were powerful, under the ink stains, the entire world was filled with Hua Qingyun's sword qi. At this moment, he was the master. Boom, boom, boom. The bolting thunder dharma forms shattered one after another, and the sword ray charged toward Yi Chen again. Facing such terrifying sword might, even the spectators felt a great pressure, and they all revealed expressions of fear. However, Yi Chen was taking a leisurely stroll in the park, unfazed in the face of all this. This brat should be so confident. Is he really confident, or is he just stunned? Is this the behavior of a fool? I don't know. This brat is too strange. We have no way to predict his future actions at all. We can only see the results. Don't worry, everyone. Although both of them are peerless geniuses and invincible, this is their ultimate battle. No matter who wins, they'll have to pay a great price. When the time comes, we'll reap the benefits alone. It'll be wonderful. You're right. All the powerhouses were waiting for an opportunity. They were ready to seize the opportunity and treasure when Hua Qingyun and Yi Chun were both injured. On the battlefield, Hua Qingyun's sword chi was unparalleled. He used the destruction method to break Yi Chen's 9 majestic formations consecutively. His pursuit was getting closer, but Yi Chun did not care at all. He was like a monkey, waiting for his opponent to attack. Damn it! Hua Qingyun was pressed for time, so he was instantly enraged. Unparalleled, profound sword, Black Mountain Waterfall. Rumble. However, above the 9 heavens, dark energy shrouded the entire place. Countless dark energy flowed down, covering the entire space. There was no place to hide. Ha ha ha. This was one of Hua Qingyun's sure-kill sword techniques. Under the shroud of ink staining the world and this killing divine ability, even a golden immortal would have to retreat, let alone a mere mystic immortal. Yi Chen sighed softly, knowing that the time had come. Countless Buddhist Dharma seals suddenly appeared at the places he had passed to avoid the sword's pursuit. At the same time, countless heavenly Tao laws were engraved on the seals, and these are the 9 heavenly Tao. Buddhist emperor's decree, unyielding seal of salvation. Rumble. Behind Yi Chun, the mountains exploded one after another, and the Buddha emperor's shadow appeared in the world again. The majestic Buddha shadow triggered the unyielding seal of salvation's karma laws on the ground. The boundless connection instantly locked the world. Even the land that was stained with ink was within the range of the unyielding seal. 9 heavenly Tao, Buddha Emperor's judgment. At the same time, above the 9 heavens, thunderbolts descended, and the earthen Vajraka Dharma seal responded. In an instant, the boundless world was filled with Buddhist power, and the world was filled with heavenly Tao. What? Hua Qingyun instantly felt his power draining away. Under the Buddha's light, he could not move his feet. Under the heavenly Tao's lightning, his entire cultivation method was crippled. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The heavenly lightning descended, and the dragon's spear appeared. Roar. The majestic dragon's roar shook the 9 hells, and the world was clear when the dragon emerged from the sea. Kill. Hua Qingyun still wanted to make his final resistance. He channeled all the power of the profound sword and used his lifetime's cultivation method, wanting to perish together with Yi Chun. However, how could he fight against the Buddha's light and the heavenly brilliance? Rumble. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The sound of thunder and explosions instantly swept in all directions. Hua Qingyun's profound sword flew out of his hand, and his body exploded. He did not even have the chance to scream. The most powerful prodigy died just like that. Chapter 2274. Everyone's last hope, the unparalleled mysterious sword, Hua Qingyun, had died in Yi Chen's hands just like that. He did not even have a chance to fight back. He did not even see the true meaning of Yi Chen's final move before he died. This result of the battle dumbfounded those who were waiting to see Yi Chun and Hua Qingyun suffer. Everyone, how do you feel? Hearing Yi Chen's question, the powerhouses did not dare to make a sound. They only gritted their teeth in their hearts, but the result would not change. Hua Qingyun is already dead. Who else wants to challenge this emperor? Whoosh! As he spoke, Yi Chun made a grabbing motion with his hand. The powerful might of the star-plucking palm descended and surrounded the profound sword. The powerful suction force made the profound sword unable to move. However, its master was already dead, so the profound sword resisted with all its might. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Countless sword gleams flickered on the profound sword, trying to resist Yi Chen's star-picking palm. Oomph! You don't have the qualifications to refuse to accept this, Emperor. Yi Chen roared furiously. The Pluto, star-plucking hand appeared. As he waved his claws, the nether divine power completely destroyed the celestial sword will to resist and return to Yi Chen's hand. Such a scene shocked all the powerhouses. Yi Chun had easily subdued the heavenly armaments and profound swords. His awe-inspiring will was no longer comparable to ordinary people. We don't dare to challenge you. The powerhouses lowered their heads and bowed to Yi Chun. Ha ha ha! The tyrannical laughter resounded through the horizon. The motionless Wisdom King and the three great supreme experts bowed at the same time. Yi Chun had finally become the sole ruler of the Ninth Law Realm. Lord Celestial Emperor, the entire Ninth Law Realm is a super-large alternate dimension. Since you're the sole ruler of this place, then this alternate dimension belongs to you. The immovable Wisdom King came over and gave Yi Chun a Buddha Emperor Golden Seal. This golden seal represented the ownership of the Ninth Law Realm. Thank you. Yi Chun nodded slightly and took the Buddha Emperor Golden Seal. Suddenly, waves of alternate dimension energy were infused into Yi Chun's body. All the energy and information of the Ninth Law Realm were under Yi Chun's control. The Ninth Law Realm belongs to this emperor. All of you leave immediately. Yes, yes. The powerhouses had thought that Yi Chun was going to do something to them. Now that he was asking them to leave, it was exactly what they wanted. One by one, they released their abilities and left. The Ninth Buddha realm fell into silence. Akala, three venerables, leave with me. Yes. The four of them bowed at the same time. They had become Yi Chun's loyal subordinates. The entire Ninth Buddha world instantly shrunk into the Buddha Emperor Golden Seal. The power of space was vast and boundless, attracting the attention of the time and space dragon. The four of them flew quickly out of the Bodhi realm and returned to the spiritual realm. The current Yi Chun had obtained too many fortuitous encounters in the Bodhi realm. His strength was invincible, and he was no longer afraid of any challenge. This time, his return was to unify the six realms and become the ruler of the six heavens. Buddha, I illuminates the world. After entering the spirit realm, Yi Chun immediately activated the Dharma realm Buddha's eye. It was the Buddha Emperor's eye formed by the ninth heaven Tao. It was far above the heavenly spirit Buddha's eye. Z. With the wisdom eye, countless energies were reflected in Yi Chun's eyes. He instantly discovered where the netherworld was. However, at this moment, the evil spirits had already taken control of the area. Yi Chun's eyes focused as he began his heavenly emperor's sense. Through the heavenly emperor's sword's origin, Yi Wushuang's location appeared before Yi Chun's eyes. Wushuang, the spiritual sound transmission reached beyond the nine heavens. Yes, master. Yi Wushuang was very excited. Yi Chun had finally reappeared. What did you say? Is it the great emperor? The patriarch and the others were also excited. During this period of time, they had been hiding here and there, spending a lot of effort. It was just to save their lives. They had wanted to counterattack for a long time, but they were powerless. They had been waiting for the great emperor to return. Finally, they had waited for it. Wushuang, I'll return immediately. All right, master. I'll give you the location. Yi Chun released the heavenly emperor's sword's telepathy and told Yi Chun the most accurate location information. Let's go. A lotus bloomed under Yi Chun's feet. The huge lotus turned into a lotus boat and quickly moved toward the predetermined coordinates. Finally, after 20 hours of waste batteries, Yi Chun led the four venerable ones and found the main group. Great Emperor. The powerhouses came out to welcome him. They had been waiting for Yi Chun for too long. It turned out that the time in the Bodhi realm was different from the outside world. Yi Chun had only been in the Bodhi realm for a few years, but 100 years had passed in the outside world. Everyone, I've kept you waiting. Yi Chun immediately realized this when he saw the powerhouse's state. He had already sensed the flow of time when he came out of the Bodhi realm. But now that he had returned, he could not let them sleep in the wilderness without a home to return to. Everyone, follow me and take back 3,000 feet of the Yellow Springs. Yes. The powerhouses responded one after another. Their morale was unprecedentedly high. They could already feel that Yi Chun's strength was different from before. Everyone sat on the lotus boat and sped toward the Yellow Springs. Within 3,000 feet of the Yellow Springs, the evil spirit army had gathered. During this time, the Ninth Origin had built a paradise for the evil spirits. But because of the internal changes among the evil spirits, the other origins had not come to the spirit realm. The reason the Ninth Origin had been diligently building was because the other three origins had come out of seclusion after 100 years. This time, they were going to descend upon the spirit realm and unify the evil spirits. Lord Ninth Origin, the entire spirit realm is now under our control. There's no sign of the underworld deity. No one knows if Yi Chun is dead or alive, and there's no movement from the demon martial world. The primordial immortal world is recuperating. We're invincible, the evil undying lord said arrogantly. Evil undying lord, Yi Chun is the biggest scourge. We haven't heard from him since he left. We've been searching for him for 100 years, but we haven't found any trace of him. It's unsettling. The evil lord of celestial Qi said in a low voice. Ha ha, evil lord of celestial Qi, but being a bit too cautious. Yi Chun hasn't appeared in 100 years, which means he's most likely dead somewhere unknown. He's extraordinarily talented and has extraordinary destiny. If we let him escape, we'll have no end of trouble in the future. Evil lord of celestial Qi, you think too highly of him. The Lord Ninth Origin is building a base of evil spirits, and the other 3 origins are about to descend. Even if he's not dead, what can he do? Stop arguing. The Ninth Origin glared at them coldly, and they could only shut up. Ruinable. It was at this moment that, all of a sudden, a huge wind blew up in the ninth heaven, and the sound of thunder filled the air. A mighty Buddhist might descended, causing the 3 experts to tremble. What's going on? The Ninth Origin roared. In the past 100 years, no one had dared to cause such a ruckus in their territory. Whoever it was, they had to be killed. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 3 of them flew up into the sky. High up in the ninth heaven, the lotus boat descended, surrounded by Buddhist Qi and Buddhist light that repelled all evil spirits. Ninth Origin, evil lord of celestial Qi, evil undying lord, how have you been? Chapter 2275. Your Yi Chun. Yi Chun's aura was even more domineering, and his aura of a celestial emperor was unshakable. When the evil lord and the evil venerable lord sensed the unusual energy on Yi Chun's body, they were stunned. They did not expect that after 100 years, Yi Chun would reappear in the spirit realm and even take the initiative to look for them. This behavior was too arrogant. The Ninth Origin was an entity comparable to a gold immortal. In the spirit realm, no one would dare to go up against it in such an arrogant manner. Evil Lord Tian Qi and the evil undead lord were relying on the Ninth Origin. However, Yi Chun was so powerful and surrounded by so many divine lights that he seemed mysterious and unpredictable. Years ago, when Yi Chun was only a true immortal, he had left right under the Ninth Origin's nose. Now that he had returned, would he come without absolute confidence? They all knew that Yi Chun was no fool. What did his return mean? Yi Chun, how dare you pick a fight with us evil spirits? You overestimate yourself. It doesn't matter what opportunities you've come across in the past 100 years. You're no match for the Lord of the Ninth Origin. Surrender now, and you might be able to keep your life. The evil overlord was the first to jump out and yell at Yi Chun. How dare you? The Yellow Springs patriarch roared, his eyes blazing as he glared at the evil overlord. In the 100 years that Yi Chun had been gone, the Yellow Springs patriarch and the other combatants had used the cultivation method Yi Chun had left behind to cultivate the heavenly Tao to the sixth origin. The patriarch, Wu Shuang, and the Netherworld patriarch had even broken through their limits and become arcane immortals. They were no longer the weaklings they once were, and, if not for the existence of the Ninth Origin, they would have long since attacked the Yellow Springs. Yellow Springs Patriarch. The evil overlord was furious. He had never thought that a remnant like the Yellow Springs Patriarch would dare to speak to him like this. What, evil overlord, do you think I'm afraid of you? I've long since cultivated the sixth origin with the help of the Great Emperor's cultivation method. If you don't like it, come and try. You're courting death. The evil overlord lashed out at the Yellow Springs Patriarch. Yi Chun nodded at the Patriarch, then flew out. The Yellow Springs sword Qi bloomed like a lotus, instantly locking down the area. The Yellow Springs sword realm had been baptized by the sixth origin. Lotus flowers bloomed on the road to the Yellow Springs, and the light of Buddha illuminated the mortal world. Old Ancestor Yellow Spring waved the long sword in his hand, and immortal energy burst forth. Boundless Sword Chi was like a school of piranhas, trapping the evil lord, making it almost impossible for him to use any divine arts. This was the so-called preemptive strike. Even though the evil lord had also entered the 6th-tier heavenly Buddha pawn back then, based on his talent and comprehension ability, it was impossible for him to comprehend the true meaning within. Even if he had a deep foundation, he was still no match for the old ancestor. Level 6 Heaven Dao, Yellow Springs, Sword Chi. So. Boundless Sword Chi turned into ghosts that reaped his life, crazily devouring the evil lord's body and soul. No. The evil overlord had not expected Patriarch Yellow Spring's strength to improve so quickly. It had long surpassed his expectations. He had thought that he would be able to kill the Patriarch Yellow Spring to establish his dominance. But now, not only did he fail to do so, he was even in a dangerous situation now. Seeing this scene, the evil spirit army immediately fell into chaos. Their evil overlord could not even defeat the Patriarch of Hell. How powerful was Yi Chen now? The evil spirit army's morale was shaken by such a contrast. The 9th Origin instantly realized this. Silence. The 9th Origin roared coldly. Air currents swirled around it, and a vast evil energy filled the world. The pressure from Yi Chen instantly dissipated, and the 9th Origin's psychic pressure descended upon the evil spirit army. Thus, the entire evil spirit army worshipped the 9th Origin, not daring to move. Yi Chen did not care about any of this. He simply looked at the battlefield, where the Patriarch of Hell and the evil overlord were fighting. Patriarch, we have faith in you. Kill him, Patriarch. This is the great Emperor's first battle after his return. Patriarch, show some skill. The experts of the battle house were cheering for the Patriarch, hoping that he would end the battle quickly. Hearing the cheers of the experts, the Patriarch of Hell's fighting spirit soared. He also realized that the outcome of this battle was related to the dignity of the great Emperor, so he could not lose. Patriarch Yellow Spring, you're rebelling. I'll make sure you die without a burial. Ha! Evil overlord, I'll make you understand that your talent is trash. Die. Old Ancestor Yellow Springs bloomed in his heart, completely using the heavenly Tao Heart Sutra left behind by the Celestial Arch. In the blink of an eye, the might of the Yellow Springs sword realm pressed down, causing the evil lord's divine ability domain to fall into a state of destruction. Impossible. The evil overlord saw that his bloodbug domain was being suppressed by the Yellow Spring sword realm and could not be used. He did not know that the person in front of him, who had not been a match for him before, was now so powerful. It didn't make sense, but it was the truth. Yellow Spring's sword technique, soul-locking sword. Just as the evil overlord was hesitating, the Patriarch attacked in anger. The life-reaping sword was infused with the heavenly Tao Heart cultivation method, and it instantly locked onto the evil overlord. The experts were shocked, and the evil spirits were shaken. Evil overlord! The heavenly evil lord roared. However, the evil overlord could not withstand the power of the Yellow Spring sword realm. His body exploded, and the life-reaping sword took his soul. Boom, boom, boom. Following that, the evil spirit exploded, and the entire place turned into a place of silence. The Patriarch stood high in the sky, his sword chi threatening. The evil spirit cultivators were shocked. This kind of power was enough to intimidate them. Damn it! The heavenly evil lord wanted to sneak an attack on the Patriarch, but Yi Chen gave him a cold look. The heavenly evil lord felt as if his body had frozen, and he could not move. The evil spirits were completely shocked. They had never imagined that the Patriarch of Hell would kill the evil overlord before the 9th Origin. They could not accept this result. Ha! Yi Chen, it seems that you've helped your subordinates a lot. The 9th Origin finally spoke. It looked at Yi Chen with a cold smile. The evil overlord's death did not seem to affect it at all. After all, as source-rank evil spirit experts, their statuses were on a completely different level from these dominators. They were the most primitive existences among evil spirits, and all evil generals had to listen to their commands. In their eyes, these evil generals were no different from ordinary evil spirits. Ninth origin, take your people and get out of the Yellow Springs Battle Palace. This is your only chance at survival. Yi Chen's voice was low, and his body emitted a powerful heavenly Tao light. All of the evil spirit energy, including the ninth origins, was destroyed. Yi Chen did not give the ninth origin any leeway. This was an order from the Celestial Emperor. Haha, how bold, Yi Chen! But have you ever thought that in this world, only the evil spirits can infect others? Nothing can make them leave. Is that so? Chapter 2276. Yi Chen smiled coldly at the ninth origin's confidence, then pointed his sword to the sky and laughed. Rumble! Thunder roared from the highest heavens, and the sun and moon lost their light. Within the cosmos, the projection of the heavenly emperor stood proudly in the starry sky, like a pillar supporting the heavens. The heavenly emperor's light illuminated the world. The entire 3,000 feet of the netherworld was illuminated by the heavenly emperor's light. The evil spirit warriors who were illuminated all knelt on the ground and subconsciously worshipped Yi Chen. Such might once again shocked the evil spirit powerhouses. When they saw their subordinates worshipping Yi Chen, they felt like they were on the verge of collapse. If the ninth origin was enraged, they would be killed beyond a shadow of a doubt. The evil generals didn't know what to do. They were like ants on a hot pan, completely at a loss for what to do. Good. All hail the Heavenly Emperor. The Heavenly Emperor is invincible. The experts of the Netherworld Battle Mansion roared with the majesty of the Heavenly Emperor. Compared to the projection of the Heavenly Emperor, the ninth origin was completely suppressed. He found that he couldn't unleash his own energy. The projection of the Heavenly Emperor contained the ninth origin's heavenly Tao, which was something that the ninth origin's seventh origin couldn't stand up to. The ninth origin's expression turned vicious. But what could he do in the face of the heavenly Tao? The power of the heavenly Tao suppressed the entire battlefield. Almost all of the Dark Spirit warriors knelt on the ground. The morale of the Dark Spirit army was completely shattered, and it was impossible for them to face off against the Battle Mansion army. Ninth origin scram. At Yi Chen's command, the powerhouse's imposing aura directly suppressed the evil spirit army. The ninth origin's brows furrowed as he tried to assess Yi Chen's true strength. After all, if he really left like this, he would no longer have a foothold among the dark spirits. But if his life was in danger, he wouldn't die here. However, Yi Chen, who was far from being a match for him 100 years ago, had now reappeared. Yi Chen was so powerful that it gave him a sense of disbelief. He was thinking about how Yi Chen had mastered the 9 heavenly Tao. In the past 100 years, he had tried to cultivate such a powerful elemental force many times, but the most he could achieve was the 7 heavenly Tao. It was impossible for him to progress further. Scram! When the 9th origin didn't respond, Yi Chen flew into a rage. He unleashed the heavenly dragon roar, causing countless dark spirit warriors to explode. All the dark spirit warriors and even most of the dark spirit warlords were stunned. Yi Chen would definitely eliminate them without mercy. Exalted ninth essence, let's retreat. That's right, Lord Source. We'll retreat with you. There's no time, Lord Source. All of the corrupt spirit experts bowed, hoping that the 9th origin would retreat. The Yellow Springs was a treasure trove that the 9th origin had managed for over 100 years, and was prepared to welcome the arrival of the 3 great origin sources. But now they were withdrawing because of a single profound immortal human. That was a huge loss of face. As a golden immortal of the bisexual race, was he really going to be defeated here? Yi Chen's eyes glinted coldly. The heavenly Tao's radiance instantly transformed into Slaughter Chi, the roaming dragon sword, and the mystic sword appeared one after another. Boom, boom, boom. Sword Chi whistled, dragons roared, and the endless sky instantly turned dark. As the saying goes, ink stains the world. Such a majestic might intimidated the evil spirit army for the third time. Countless combatants could not resist the mental corruption and worshipped Yichun. The main force of this worship was the evil general. The ninth origin was flabbergasted. It knew that its deterrence was completely useless. Yichun was simply too powerful. Yichun, remember what you've done today. I'll make you regret it. Scram! Yichun shouted one last time. Powerful sword chi filled the sky, and the power of the mystic sword swept out. One sword strike from the evil spirit army, and 100,000 heads rolled to the ground. Hurry up and leave. The evil spirits panicked, and countless evil spirit generals led their troops away. The ninth origin also fled in panic. Instantly, countless combatants of the battle mansion cheered and worshipped Yichun again. Only the Celestial Emperor could accomplish such a shocking feat after that. The Netherworld battle mansion opened a path to the Underworld realm. The Beast Emperor's bloodline and the Flying Feather clan entered the world and joined Yichun's banner. The Netherworld battle mansion's grand formation was in perfect order, and it looked like they could dominate the 6 realms and achieve unparalleled accomplishments. The ninth origin arrived at the abyss of evil spirits. This was the passageway between the spirit realm and the evil spirit realm. It had taken the ninth origin 100 years to build this passageway in preparation for the arrival of the 3 great origin realms. Now, it had become a refuge for the evil spirit army. Your Excellency, ninth origin, the evil lord of the heavenly maw said. Just one of his subordinates was able to kill the evil, undying lord. It seems that the Netherworld battle mansion's strength has increased greatly. We can't fight them head-on. The evil lord of the heavenly maw said. A puny mystic immortal dares to threaten the origin realms? I won't let this matter rest. However, we need to hurry up and build the altar so that the 3 great origin realms can descend. The ninth origin looked toward the center of the abyss, where it had built the altar. Once the 3 great origin realms descended, Yichun would die. The Netherworld, the void. A dark figure broke through the barrier of the void and entered. Dugawana, I'm here. The dark figure sped through the void like a formless light in the darkness, shocking everything and forcing the universe to submit. Mysterious nether divinity power swept out, transforming into a path of the nether divinity. Countless vortexes appeared in the void, blocking the path of the nether divinity. However, it was useless. Wherever the nether divinity went, nothing could stop it. The dark figure stood alone in the void. It was none other than the nether divinity, who had been missing for 100 years. He had been searching for Dugu Feng for 100 years now, but still hadn't found him. The agreement from 1,000 years ago was now right in front of him, but also so far away that he couldn't be found. The nether divinity's eyes glittered coldly, and his nether divinity power transformed into 8 vicious dragons that slashed out in all directions. The void was on the verge of shattering, and the powerful energy sliced through everything in its path. Countless floating mountains were shattered, and floating planets were reduced to dust. Don't tell me the heavens want to stop me? The nether divinity looked up into the boundless void, unable to restrain his rage. It was at this moment that a sharp beam of light shot into the eye of the nether divinity, vanishing like a shooting star. No, that's the Dugu sword spirit. The sword light entered the nether divinity's eyes, and his divine sense entered his heart. He was so shocked that he didn't even dare to blink as he sped along with the sword spirit. The spirit realm, the devil realm, the netherworld, the primordial immortal world, the devil martial world, and the nether divinity realm. The 6 realms were filled with chaos, and the evil spirits wreaked havoc everywhere. It was impossible to say how much chaos had arisen in the past 10,000 years. Yichun, the celestial emperor, had descended into the world for the sake of chaos. Chapter 2277. Under Yichun's leadership, the Netherworld Battle Mansion rapidly expanded its territory. It had already united the Underworld and the Spirit Realm to create the 6-Realm Alliance. The leader was naturally the Heavenly Emperor Yichun. Subsequently, Yichun lectured at the Battle Mansion. The surrounding independent cultivators, rangers, and those with sufficient talent came to pay their respects and join the alliance as Yi Chen's disciples. Under Yi Chen's tutelage, these people's cultivation base soared, and their cultivation base advanced by leaps and bounds. The might of the Netherworld Battle Mansion temporarily suppressed the evil spirits, the demon martial world, and even the primordial immortal world, sitting at the top of the six realms. However, this was not Yi Chen's ultimate goal. He wanted to be the ruler of the six realms. Ancestral Lord Ghostlight, how's the investigation of the evil spirit Abyss going? Reporting to the Great Emperor, the evil spirit Abyss is filled with evil energy. A grand altar shadow has appeared. It feels like it's summoning something. Yi Chen's eyes narrowed. He had an idea. The last time the evil spirit army was defeated, the Ninth Origin was naturally dissatisfied. It wanted to summon a powerhouse from the evil spirit world. It was just that Yi Chen did not know what it would summon this time. Ancestral Lord Ghostlight, continue monitoring. Report any news immediately. Yes, the Ancestral Lord Ghostlight flew away. Ancestral Lord Ghostlight, is there any movement from the demon martial world? Great Emperor, since the demon martial world failed, they haven't attacked the spirit realm. It might be related to the evil spirit invasion, but they'll definitely do something with the establishment of the Six Realm Alliance. Wushuang, what about the primordial immortal world? Master, the situation in the primordial immortal world is complicated, but they still sent disciples to investigate. Ha ha! Yi Chen stood up and laughed at the sky. Everything was within his expectations. His main opponent now was naturally the evil spirits. Only by completely eradicating the evil spirits in the spirit realm could he continue to conquer the demon martial world or the primordial immortal world. Only by establishing the Six Realm Alliance could he face an even greater crisis, the fight for universe supremacy. This trip to the Ninth Technique had made Yi Chen realize that the chaotic universe was not the only thing in this world. There was also the misty universe, the savage universe, the soaring clouds universe, the primordial universe, and so on. There were various powerful universes. Since Yi Chen had revealed himself this time, and even seized the Ninth Heaven Tao, the people of the various universes would certainly pay attention to the chaotic universe. This was the inevitable beginning of the universe struggle. The Six Realm Alliance was just a small target for Yi Chen. He knew that time was of the essence. He had to solve the problem of his backyard before the universe war began. Otherwise, the human race would fall into the vortex of the universe war and be completely destroyed. The demon god temple of the demon martial world. 100 years ago, the Red Devils had a bad start and damaged our prestige. Lord Heavenly Devil, it's time for us to get back at them. A true demon lord's eyes shone with blood-red light, his battle intense surging. Sitting on the throne was a demonic heretic who was 30 feet tall. He was covered in black scales and had a horn on his head. He was the extraterrestrial demon, the Dark Emperor. The Emperor of Darkness let out a soft sigh. He clearly remembered the failure of the Qi Yin Demon Master previously. This was also the reason why the Red Demon Clan had all become lowly commoners and slaves. Thud, thud, thud. At this moment, the sound of footsteps could be heard. Demon Lord Hui stood up and narrowed his eyes. He looked ahead with a displeased expression. Who let him in? This is... The two guards were in a difficult position. Although the Red Demon Clan was lowly, as the son of the Qi Yin Demon Master, he still had a considerable status. Demon Lord Hui walked forward and sneered. Oh, so it's the son of the Qi Yin Demon Master, Explosive Demon Lord. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Suddenly, demonic energy erupted under Explosive Demon Lord's feet. The entire palace shook, and even the ground beneath his feet cracked. It was clearly inappropriate for such behavior to occur in the Demon God Temple. ****. Demon Lord Hui was furious. He waved his claws and charged toward Explosive Demon Lord. Clang! However, the claws stopped an inch away from the Demon Lord's eyes and could not go any further. Demon Lord Hui felt greatly humiliated. He wanted to move again, but was stopped by the Emperor of Darkness. Stop! No one could disobey the emperor's order. Both of them stopped at the same time and separated. Then, Explosive Demon Lord went forward and knelt on one knee. Explosive greets the Emperor of Darkness. Ha ha! For the past 100 years, I've heard that you've forced yourself to cultivate inhumanely and your strength has improved by leaps and bounds. You can even defeat a demon master as a demon lord. I'm very surprised. Explosive Demon Lord, are you going to give me a surprise this time? Monarch Darkness smiled as he looked at Burst. His voice was low and deep, bringing with it an extremely strong spiritual pressure. However, Burst had long forgotten about life and death. His path of cultivation was unimaginably cruel. Hence, even when facing Monarch Darkness, he was still fearless. Meanwhile, the powerhouses at the side, including the Demon Masters, all looked fearful. Explosive request to fight and bring back Yi Chen's head to wash away the shame of the Red Demon Clan. When the time comes, please remove the order of the lowly Red Demon Clan, Emperor of Darkness. Oh, ha ha! The Emperor of Darkness laughed out loud and stood up. He looked coldly at Explosive Demon Lord. Although the person before him was arrogant, it was to his liking. After all, the demon martial world had been silent for too long. He had long wanted to attack the spiritual realm. This time, Yi Chun had established the Six Realms Alliance. It was a good opportunity. However, no one had mentioned it until now. Now that Explosive Demon Lord had mentioned it, the Emperor of Darkness was naturally happy. Yi Chun has just returned from the Bodhi realm. I heard that his strength is invincible. He challenged a powerhouse in the universe as a mysterious immortal. Are you sure you could bring back his head? Oh, Emperor of Darkness, if I can't do it, then I'll use my head as a sacrifice to the shame of the Red Demon Clan. Ha ha! The Emperor of Darkness's eyes bulged. He was extremely excited. As expected, Explosive Demon Lord did not disappoint him. The person before him was the general he needed. Very well, I've given the order. Explosive will lead the army to attack the spiritual realm, eliminate the Heavenly Emperor Yi Chun, and unify the Six Realms. Yes, Explosive Demon Lord received the order. After he stood up, his eyes were burning with red flames. Finally, he had the chance to break the Red Demon Clan's curse. After leaving the Demon God Temple, Explosive Demon Lord brought the order and gathered the Demon Martial World's army of 3,001,000 warships and charged into the spiritual realm. At the same time, in the primordial immortal world, above the Ling Huang Palace, many masters gathered. Ling Huang sat on the throne, looking down at the people below. Everyone, the Heavenly Emperor Yi Chun has established the Six Realms Alliance. How should we deal with it? Ling Huang asked. This brat is too arrogant. He was already a scourge 100 years ago. I didn't expect his ambition to be so much greater than before. He's really audacious. The first to rebuke was Sage Lung Yu. How could he accept being defeated by Yi Chun? Chapter 2278. Sensing the Venerable Lung Yu's anger, Ling Huang said with a smile, Venerable Lung Yu, the loss 100 years ago has made you hold a grudge. However, I heard that Yi Chun is different from before. He even obtained the Buddha Emperor's 9 Heaven Dao. Do you really think you're his match? This Sage Lung Yu is not an unwise person. Naturally, she understood that Yi Chun was extremely difficult to deal with back then. This time, after returning from 100 years of cultivation, even her subordinate, the Patriarch of Hell, could kill the evil supremacy. It was clear that Yi Chen's strength was extraordinary. What's the use of being a yes-man? Ling Huang was a little displeased. He looked at the many spiritual masters below him who had no will to fight. He had not expected the primordial immortal empire to be reduced to such a state. Yi Chen wants to unify the Six Realms. It's very difficult for us to fight him alone this time. We can only work together. Enlightened Master Chongsu, what do you mean? Simple. Join forces with the demon martial world, or even the evil spirit world. All the experts revealed a look of astonishment. They didn't expect Master Chong Su to say such words. Was he asking them, the dignified light forces, to lower their heads to the dark forces? Many people shook their heads, but Ling Huang frowned slightly and seemed to be deep in thought. Obviously, to him, this might not be a bad idea. After all, the primordial immortal empire had fallen into a state of fragmentation after the turmoil 1,000 years ago. There were even powerful experts in seclusion, which gave him the opportunity to take over. If the primordial immortal empire was destroyed in his hands, he would not be able to answer to the powerful experts in seclusion. At that time, those experts from the ancient era would be angered. Even if he had 10 lives, he would still die without a burial ground. Master Ling Huang, this is just a temporary measure. We'll first unite MCMVU and the evil spirits, then try to communicate with the ancient powerhouses. With their support, after unifying the primordial immortal world, dealing with Yi Chun will be a piece of cake. Ha! Enlightened Master Chong, Su has concealed himself well. Sure enough, his words are eloquent and shocking. Since the other powerhouses did not have any opinions, Ling Huang laughed and praised perfected Chong Su. The other perfected masters could only agree. Reverend Chong Su, I'll leave this matter to you. Reverend Fiery Dragon, Reverend Lei Yun, the two of you assist Reverend Chong Su. Yes. Both of them were shocked at the same time. They actually became perfected Chong Su's assistants. They felt that they had lost face and were slightly unhappy. However, when they saw Ling Huang's serious expression, they did not dare to say anything and could only agree. Enlightened Master Chong Su smiled coldly and revealed a proud expression. Finally, it was his turn to make a contribution. Yellow Springs Battle Mansion, Meeting Hall. Everyone, we've all recuperated and gathered our strength. This emperor is going to conquer the evil spirits. Do you have any objections? Yichen looked at the powerhouses below. All of them were in high spirits. They were clearly full of fighting spirit and had been waiting for the big battle for a long time. Ha! Just one word from the great emperor, and we will follow you with our lives. Yes, the evil spirits are wreaking havoc in the world and throwing the 6 realms into chaos. Conquering the evil spirits is the heavenly Tao. Yes, your majesty. All the experts bowed and waited to attack. All right, everyone, follow me in a battle. Yi Chun led the powerhouses out of the meeting hall and arrived at the plaza. The Golden Lotus Mothership had been completed. The underworld, the spirit realm, and the underworld god realm had all submitted to Yi Chun. Even the people of the devil world had sent an army to help. After all, the devil martial world had not made a move yet. The people of the devil world did not dare to disobey the heavenly emperor, so they had no choice but to go to war. The Golden Lotus Mothership set off, and the experts boarded the ship. There were hundreds of warships, destroyers, and thunder warships patrolling around, heading straight for the abyss of evil spirits. Such a grand scene immediately alerted the abyss of evil spirits. Lord Ninth Origin, a powerhouse, ran into the main hall, his face filled with shock. The Ninth Origin's eyebrows were cold. He had naturally sensed the appearance of the Heavenly Emperor's fleet. Lord Ninth Origin, Heavenly Emperor Yi Chun, is leading the Golden Lotus Mothership and hundreds of other warships to attack the abyss of evil spirits. That bastard really came. Give him an inch, and he wants a mile. The Ninth Origin roared in anger. But what could he do in the face of danger? Evil Lord Celestial Chi, do as I said. Don't worry. Lord Celestial Chi, the Celestial Chi, will accomplish the mission. Very well. Go. Yes, your majesty. The Celestial Chi bowed slightly, then walked toward the altar in the abyss of evil spirits. The remaining experts followed the Ninth Origin into battle. In the abyss of evil spirits, an enormous fleet appeared in the ninth heaven. Yi Chen stood on a tall tower, looking down at the entire abyss of evil spirits. The abyss of evil spirits was a paradise created for the abyss of evil spirits. The veins of the earth extended in all directions, and the place was filled with sinister energy. In the very center of the abyss of evil spirits, there was a powerful energy core that caught Yi Chen's attention. It seems the abyss of evil spirits really did have a backup plan. In that case, I'll wipe them all out before your scheme succeeds. Yi Chen's eyes were cold as he lifted his right hand. Instantly, the image of an ancient god appeared behind him, like a giant that covered the entire abyss of evil spirits. Ancient god, rushing thunder palm. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Instantly, the thunder god Dharma idol appeared, and boundless divine lightning converged on the ancient god's palm. Wind and clouds surged, and heaven and earth trembled. The enormous palm descended like a heavenly judgment. Down below, the entire abyss of evil spirits was completely surrounded by the palm. Impudent! Just as the palm was about to descend, the ninth origin's enormous palm appeared. Boom! The two palms collided in midair, and in an instant, the entire area was filled with black lightning. Shockwaves surged out in all directions, causing the surrounding mountains to crumble. Dust and sand filled the air as the evil spirits surged forth and the ninth origin appeared. Yi Chen, you're pushing your luck. You want to invade the abyss of evil spirits? You're digging your own grave. Ha ha ha. Evil spirit spawn. How dare you spout such arrogant words? In front of the heavens, you can only bow your head and die. Yi Chen laughed loudly, not giving the ninth origin any chance to retaliate. His powerful palm energy surged again, and this time, with the ancient god might, the celestial nine skulls appeared. With the nine skulls, the power of the palm increased by 81 times. It was the crushing Mount Tai. Boom! Huh! Even the ninth origin was shocked by the enormous palm. Compared to 100 years ago, Yi Chen's strength was on a completely different level. He was truly a god. 100 years was nothing to cultivators, and even more so to super powerhouses like them. But Yi Chen had relied on 100 years to not only reach the mystic immortal stage, but his foundation had even surpassed that of a heavenly immortal. This kind of growth was not something that ordinary people could accept. Origin energy. The ninth origin could only unleash a special kind of evil power, which was the origin energy. BZZT. BZZT. Instantly, streams of special evil power converged on the ninth origin's body, causing it to rapidly transform, becoming bloated and enormous. Chapter 2279. The ninth origin's power soared as it channeled its source energy. Finally, it sent out a powerful palm print to confront Yi Chen. The power of this palm strike was hundreds of times stronger than the previous one. The powerful energy impact swept across the entire area in an instant. All the experts retreated, but they were still affected by the impact. Countless dark spirit warriors were sent flying and vomited blood. On the Netherworld Battle Mansion side, the shockwave was blocked by the ancient god dragon. No one was hurt. Yi Chen, I'm here. Don't you dare. Ha ha ha, what a joke. Ninth origin. How many of my palms can you block? Yi Chen frowned. Suddenly, Buddhist light shone brightly. The ninefold heavenly Tao appeared, and the Buddha Emperor's shadow shook the world. When the Buddha Emperor's shadow appeared, the dark spirit army was immediately suppressed. Every warrior was covered in Buddhist light and could not circulate their energy. It was as if they were chained, and it was extremely painful. The ninth origin did not expect this. Were the dark spirit army not fish on the chopping block, waiting to be slaughtered by Yi Chen's allied army? The ninth origin went crazy. How could it have predicted so many variables? Yi Chen's 100-year journey was so shocking. It had to admit that Yi Chen was not an ordinary person. Killed him. The source energy swept across the battlefield, covering every warrior. Suddenly, the Buddhist light's restriction weakened. This was the ninth origin's last stand. Instead of waiting for death, it was better to die on the battlefield. Roar, roar, roar. Countless dark spirit warriors went crazy and charged toward the Battle Mansion army. Huh. Great Emperor, we'll have to charge now. The Dark Patriarch laughed. Go. Yes. With permission, the Dark Patriarch led the underworld army of 100,000 to charge. Behind them, the Dark Patriarch and Yi Wushuang each led 100,000 soldiers, waiting for Yi Chen's orders. Boom, boom, boom. The battlefield was filled with cannon fire. Countless warriors fought with their lives on the line. Blood flowed everywhere. The ninth origin looked at the underworld warriors shrouded in Buddhist light. Their combat power was far above the dark spirit warriors. He thought, I can only wait for a miracle. Evil Lord of Tianqi, don't let me down. At this moment, the evil Lord of Tianqi used his source energy to open the altar. Evil light shot into the sky, opening a door to a world. It was the dark spirit world. Mima, Mima, Mima. Evil Lord Tianqi kept chanting the spell, hoping to communicate with the 8th, 7th, and 6th sources. However, there was no response, which made him anxious. Hurry up, hurry up. Cold sweat trickled down the Tianqi evil lord's forehead, and his heart trembled. He could already sense that the evil spirit army was in grave danger. They were no match for the Netherworld army at all. Kill. In fact, the Patriarch of Hell and Yi Wushuang each led 100,000 troops to charge from both sides. The evil spirit army was instantly thrown into chaos, and countless people were killed. The scene was already irreversible. Evil spirit corpses piled up like a mountain. Still not conceding, ninth origin? Yichen shouted coldly. Ha ha, you want the source to admit defeat? Yichen, dream on. Since that's the case, then disappear from the spiritual realm forever. Yichen tossed out the immortal slaying flying saber. Thousands of saber gleams appeared and charged toward the evil spirit army. So. Wherever the saber light passed, blood flowed like a river. Countless evil spirit warriors were beheaded. The million-strong evil spirit army was unable to resist the allied army of 300,000 because of Yichen's support. The night shift was in danger. The ninth origin once again released its source energy, trying to buy time. Yichen observed for a long time and naturally realized that the ninth origin's plan was to use the altar to summon reinforcements. Patriarch, Wushuang, hold on. I'll destroy the evil spirit altar myself. Yes, the Patriarch of Hell and Yi Wushuang flew toward the ninth origin. With the support of Yi Chen's 9 levels of heavenly Tao, their strength had increased greatly. They still had the foundation of a heavenly immortal. As long as they delayed the ninth origin, Yi Chen could easily destroy the altar. Don't even think about it. The ninth origin wanted to stop Yi Chen, but it was the Patriarch of Hell and Yi Wushuang. Underworld Sword, Heavenly Emperor Sword. Their swords slashed out, and the sword array was activated. 2 sword realms blocked the ninth origin. Kill. The ninth origin was burning with anxiety. It did not care about anything else and used its ultimate killing move. However, the Heavenly Emperor Sword had been upgraded by Yi Chen many times and was still a supreme-grade heavenly weapon. Yi Wushuang's strength was naturally superior, so he did not fear the ninth origin at all. Heavenly Emperor Sword, Heaven and Earth Slash. The Heavenly Emperor Sword cut through heaven and earth, causing the universe to rumble. Boom, boom, boom. A majestic barrier of sword energy appeared in front of the ninth origin. All the peaks, valleys, and complicated terrain were cut off by the blade. You all deserve to die. The ninth origin was enraged. It activated its source true body and multiplied its power. However, Yi Wushuang and the Patriarch of Hell activated their ultimate forms at the same time and would not back down. At this moment, Yichen passed through the battlefield and walked toward the altar in the evil spirit abyss. Mima, 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 the celestial Chi Lord was still chanting incantations, hoping that the 3 sources would respond as soon as possible. However, there was no response, which made his mood even worse. What's going on? What happened in the evil spirit world? Celestial Chi Lord. Suddenly, a cold voice came from behind. The celestial Chi Lord's back was drenched in cold sweat, as if he had heard the voice of hell. Yi Chen, the celestial Chi Lord, turned around and looked at Yi Chen in horror. Celestial Chi Lord, how have you been? I didn't think that you'd finally obtained everything in the Bodhi realm. However, don't even think of stopping my summoning ceremony today. Is that so? Yi Chen's eyes were cold. His entire body exploded, and the space around him exploded rapidly. This explosive energy wave kept rushing toward the altar, but stopped 10 meters away from it. The celestial Chi Lord spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time. It was the celestial Chi Lord himself who blocked Yi Chen's explosion. Yi Chen, I didn't think that your strength has risen to such a terrifying level. You're not what you used to be, haha. Just as Yi Chen was feeling puzzled, the evil lord of the heavenly malevolence suddenly released his own blood and sprinkled it on the altar. Following that, a beam of red light shot up into the sky and rushed into the evil spirit realm. Following that, a vast amount of evil energy surged out and forged a passage. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes when he saw the passage. He sensed a power that far surpassed the ninth origin descending along the passage. Ha ha! Yi Chen, the three sources have come. You'll all die a horrible death. As he spoke, the celestial Chi Lord sacrificed himself and poured all his energy into the passage. Chapter 2280. Yi Chen's eyes turned cold as he watched the Tianqi Evil Lord's blood splatter on the altar. If the Tianqi Evil Lord opened the evil spirit channel, the consequences would be unimaginable. Gliding dragon sword, celestial sword. Yi Chen released both swords and rushed toward the altar. Then, he held the dragon quell spear and faced the altar. Thunder God Avatar, 9 refinements divine spear. Yi Chen created a new martial art by developing the Thunder God Avatar and strengthening the Celestial 9 accumulations. The Dragon Quell Spear was surrounded by 9 dragons. It was the Celestial 9 accumulations. With the Thunder Dragon Sovereign and the Thunder God Avatar, its power increased immeasurably. Kill! Yi Chen wanted to break the altar in front of him and completely end the summoning ceremony. Clang, clang, clang. In the blink of an eye, Lei Longqiang flashed with electricity and collided with the altar. However, to Yi Chen's surprise, the spear did not break the altar. It did not even cause much damage. Both sides were in a stalemate in midair. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The lightning kept trying to break through the altar's protective evil energy, but the evil energy, under the celestial Chi Evil Lord's sacrifice, began to rise, and the speed at which it rose was getting faster and faster. This made Yi Chen realize how serious the problem was. It was very likely that someone in the evil spirit realm was still responding to this energy, and that the person who responded was even stronger than the ninth origin. This was definitely not a good sign. Netherworld Finger of Destruction. Yi Chen did not want to give up. Netherworld Finger of Destruction. The god of the underworld showed his might. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The dark blood energy turned into a beam of light and shot toward the altar. Rumble. This time, with the divine power, the Finger of Destruction could break through the altar's protective layer. But the damage was instantly healed. Clearly, the situation was heading in the direction of collapse. Ha ha ha. Then, waves of laughter came from the 9 heavens. It came from the direction of the evil spirit world. The Tianqi Evil Lord's blood and energy were all absorbed by the altar. The response grew stronger and stronger. Yi Chen understood that it was not one person responding. There were at least 3. He still did not know that it was the 9th origin summoning the 8th, 7th, and 6th origin. As the power of the response gradually increased, Yi Chen could even feel the pressure. 3 powerful dark powers were gathering and gradually affecting the space where Yi Chen was. Z. The dark energy turned into sharp swords and kept attacking Yi Chen. Yi Chen's eyes focused as he punched. It was the Dragon Fong Fist. Roar! The dragon roared, and the fist ray broke through the 3 lights. Yi Chen knew he did not have much time left. Dragon Fong Fist. 9 dragons split the heavens. With the most powerful form of the Dragon Fong Fist combined with the Heaven's Spirit 9 Skanda, Yi Chen swore to break the altar before him and stop the 3 sources from descending. Roar! Countless dragon roars shook the space. 9 dragon-shaped powers wrapped around the altar. Even the Tianqi Evil Lord could not defend against the invincible dragon Qi. Finally, cracks appeared on the altar. Z. The three waves of evil energy above the nine heavens wanted to stop Yi Chen's destruction, but the swimming dragon sword, the celestial sword, and the dual spirit manifestation fought against the three waves of evil energy. The power of the heavenly soldiers supported each other, cooperating seamlessly, blocking for a moment. Destroy! Yi Chen roared. The power of the nine dragons devoured the altar in front of him. Countless cracks appeared, and the altar collapsed. Success seemed to be at hand. On the battlefield outside, the ninth origin's power was growing stronger. Yi Chen realized that the Patriarch and Wu Shuang might not be able to stop it for long. Once the ninth origin broke free, the Battle Mansion army would be in grave danger. Kacha! The altar continued to collapse. Yi Chen added more fuel to the fire. The Heavenly Emperor's sword slashed, and finally, the entire altar collapsed. The surrounding mountains were destroyed. Sand and pebbles flew everywhere. Yi Chen put away the swimming dragon sword. The celestial sword and the Heavenly Emperor's sword floated behind him. Then he gripped the dragon-quelling spear and looked sharply at the nine heavens. No! Suddenly, Yi Chen's eyes flashed with surprise. Then, three waves of evil energy descended from the sky. Even a heavenly immortal would die instantly. Regretless dragon. Seeing that his life was at stake, Yi Chen did not hesitate to attack with the dragon-restraining spear. Boom, boom, boom. Above the nine heavens, the three waves of evil energy intertwined with the dragon-quelling spear. The shattered energy was out of control and spread in all directions. Who knew how many mountains were destroyed and the ground was scorched? There was no life left. Ha ha! A mere mystic immortal can resist 3 of our killing rays. Extraordinary! When did the human race have such a genius? What a pleasant surprise. Still, you can't escape death when fighting against evil spirits. It was the 6th, 7th, and 8th origin. Bastard. Yi Chen looked like a heavenly emperor. It was all for naught. With the arrival of the 3 origin, the wind blew and clouds churned. Evil energy covered the sky. Yi Chen felt like he could not control his body and was about to be devoured by the evil energy. But the Heavenly Emperor was not one to be trifled with. Heaven-flipping seal. Yi Chen sent out a powerful palm print. Instantly, the 9 heavens resonated and the world trembled. The grand palm print instantly locked onto the 3 origin. Oh! The 8th origin smiled faintly and punched out. The majestic fist radiance carried boundless evil energy and instantly broke the heaven-flipping seal. However, the heaven-flipping seal had its own secret. In the instant that the palm print was broken, the 9 heavenly Tao came crashing down. Clang! The fist radiance filled the sky. The 8th origin could not help but sigh in amazement. This kid's casual attack has such great pressure. It's unbelievable. Just as the 3 origin were re-evaluating Yi Chen, he disappeared without a trace. The fact that he was able to leave so easily before the 3 of them shocked the 3 sources greatly. On the battlefield outside, the 9th origin broke through Yi Wu Shuang and the Patriarch of Hell and tried to enter the abyss of evil spirits. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks. This made Yi Wu Shuang and the Patriarch of Hell tremble. They stared at the enemy in front of them, wanting to know what the 9th origin had sensed and whether the great emperor had succeeded. Ha ha ha! The 9th origin suddenly laughed. Evil Lord Tianqi didn't let us down. He's a pillar of the evil spirits. What? Hearing this, the Patriarch and Wu Shuang were both shocked. The experts of the battle house were shocked. Had the great emperor failed? At that moment, a figure rushed out of the abyss of evil spirits. It was Yi Chen, the great emperor. The experts all came to greet him. The 9th origin was confused when it saw Yi Chen rush out of the abyss of evil spirits. If the 3 origin had really come, how could Yi Chen have escaped alive? At that moment, the evil energy in the abyss of evil spirits surged, sweeping out for thousands of miles. 3 powerful, invincible forces surged out. Chapter 2281. Everyone looked in the direction of the dark spirit's abyss. 3 waves of evil energy surged out, staring at them like 3 evil dragons. The air around them stagnated. The battlehouse powerhouses felt their lives in danger. Chills ran down their spines. It was not because their willpower was weak, but because of the pressure from the 3 waves of evil energy, which made them lose control of their bodies. Unless it was an unparalleled ancestor-level powerhouse, no one could resist such pressure. Many of the battlehouse powerhouses were even trembling. They gritted their teeth and tried to stop themselves, but they could not control their bodies. Still, they would not surrender. In their hearts, there was only one king, and that was the heavenly emperor, Yi Chun. Great Emperor! The Patriarch of Hell stepped forward and looked at Yi Chun with a grave expression. The situation has changed. I can even sense powerful forces approaching from other directions. They're coming with ill intentions. What? The Patriarch of Hell was even more shocked when he heard Yi Chun's words. Were they going to be surrounded? But who would take the initiative to come to the Dark Spirit's territory? At this moment, the celestial chi in the sky covered the earth. A powerful force rushed toward the battlehouse powerhouses, forming a pincer attack with the evil energy, making it difficult for them to advance or retreat. This situation had completely turned the tide of the battle. Now, the human race was in a dangerous situation. Yi Chun had not expected such a situation, but his mind was sharp. He immediately realized that the Six-Realm Alliance was too famous, and his actions were too brazen. Therefore, it was very possible that the primordial immortal world, the demon martial world, and the dark spirit world had joined forces. Now, it was very likely that the primordial immortal world had taken the initiative to join forces with the dark spirit world against the Six-Realm Alliance. Ha ha! Laughter rang out in the sky. The Patriarch of Hell immediately sensed the source of the laughter. It was Lung Yu. It's Lung Yu. The Patriarch of Hell said coldly, looking at the sky. Yi Chun, you didn't expect this, did you? Lung Yu, I didn't expect you to forget your previous failure. Yi Chun, don't be arrogant. I'm here to help the Dark Spirit world and destroy your Netherworld Battlehouse. The Battlehouse powerhouses were shocked. At the same time, the 9th evil spirit smiled. He turned to look at the 6th, 7th, and 8th origins that had walked out of the Dark Spirit abyss. Guys, Venerable Lung Yu is a powerhouse from the primordial immortal world. She's here to help us kill Yi Chun. What do you think? Now that the 3 great essences had come, it meant that the 9th essence was no longer the overlord, and therefore needed to seek their opinion. Oh, a look of interest appeared on the 6th origin's face. He had never imagined that the 3 great origin sources would immediately encounter such a strange situation. After all, the primordial immortal empire and the evil spirits had never worked together before. Since we're friends, then of course we're phantoms, the 7th origin said. Exactly, the 8th origin chimed in. With that, the 9th origin turned to look at Reverend Cold Moon and the other primordial immortal world experts. Reverend Cold Moon, the 6 Realms Alliance is too ambitious. They want to unify the 6 realms on their own. Now is the time for us to join forces and defeat them. Although Taoist Master Lung Yu knew very well that the 9th Origin's words were just for show and didn't have any real meaning, he still had to give a definite response. That was the reason why he had come here. That's right, the 9th Essence. That's exactly why I'm here. Let's join forces and get rid of these arrogant fools and maintain the stability of the 6 realms. All right. In an instant, a pincer attack was formed. The Battle Mansion's warriors were in danger. Defend. Yes. The Heavenly Emperor's command was obeyed. Countless combatants began to activate the formation that Yi Chun had taught them. To be able to become a powerhouse of the Battle Mansion, they naturally had their own basic strength. That was why they could activate the formation. Haha. What's the point of the formation? Yi Chun, you'll die today. Reverend Cold Moon was eager to make a contribution, so she personally took action. Light of the cold moon. Hiss, hiss, hiss. A crescent moon appeared in the sky. Following that, a boundless, icy aura pressed down. When the defensive formation came into contact with this icy aura, it instantly froze. The laws within were corroded by the cold moon, unable to continue. Just one move had caused a flaw in the defensive formation. Reverend Cold Moon smiled coldly and signaled Reverend Thundercloud and Reverend Fire Dragon to attack. Kill! Reverend Thundercloud soared to the sky. Thunderclouds covered the sky, shaking the earth. Reverend Fire Dragon unleashed his flaming palm without limit, turning the ground below into a sea of flames. Yi-Chen was furious. When the Heavenly Emperor was angry, blood would flow. Golden Lotus Mothership. Yi-Chen summoned the Golden Lotus Mothership. In an instant, all the combatants boarded the ship. Subsequently, hundreds of warships approached the Golden Lotus Mothership. Subsequently, the combatants on each warship released their energy, forming a connection with the Golden Lotus Mothership. Following that, these warships leaned on the halo of the Golden Lotus Mothership, forming a community of energy. In this way, the Golden Lotus Mothership controlled all the surrounding warships, while Yi-Chen commanded the overall situation. Primordial Immortal World, you'll regret today's decision. Yi-Chen's brows tightened. His eyes emitted a cold gleam. The swimming dragon sword and the celestial sword flew out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sword energy swept across 90,000 miles. The dragon's roar shook the universe. Boom, boom, boom. In the blink of an eye, two heavenly soldiers were unstoppable. They charged straight at Reverend Fire Dragon and Reverend Thundercloud. Feeling the unstoppable might of the heavenly soldiers, the two reverends were dumbfounded. Reverend Thundercloud, in particular, could not resist the swimming dragon sword of the primordial universe and was instantly defeated. However, the sword was merciless. It would not give him a chance to escape. Once he provoked Yi-Chen, this was inevitable. Roar! The dragon roared, the sword gleam flew, and the meteor shone. Soul Chaser! No! Reverend Thundercloud wanted to use the power of thunder and lightning in his body to resist, but the swimming dragon sword was enraged. The sword broke through the power of thunder and lightning and killed Reverend Thundercloud in the air. With a scream, Reverend Thundercloud was beheaded. On the other side, the celestial sword dyed the world with ink. The surrounding space quickly entered the control of the celestial sword realm. The celestial sword of the Feiyun universe evolved rapidly. Although Reverend Fire Dragon was an almighty in the primordial immortal world, he had never seen such a divine weapon. He was dumbfounded and did not know how to deal with it. 3,000 Fire Dragon soldiers. He had no choice but to release his life artifact. The 3,000 Fire Dragon soldiers. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The Fire Dragon soldiers appeared and frantically devoured the light of the celestial sword before them. However, they did not expect that this was the beginning of the nightmare. After the Fire Dragon soldiers devoured the inky sword energy, their bodies were dyed black. They were chaotic and lost their target. Reverend Fire Dragon was shocked. He did not expect his life artifact to be completely restricted by the celestial sword. Chapter 2282. The profound sword flew and split into 3 shadows. The Fire Dragon Sage used his fiery eyes, but still could not identify the true body of the profound sword because all 3 were the true body. Unrivaled Fire Dragon. The Fire Dragon Sage unleashed boundless immortal energy from his fiery palm, hoping to counter Yi-Chen's profound sword. However, he had underestimated the power of the profound sword. The Flying Cloud Universe's sword technique was far above the immortal energy and instantly locked onto the Fire Dragon Sage. Swoosh! Swish! The sword gleamed and a head fell. The Fire Dragon Sage had been killed. This level of killing shocked everyone present. At the same time, it completely intimidated the Immortal Spirit Army. One must know that they were prepared to kill all of them in one fell swoop this time. However, Yi-Chen only relied on 2 heavenly weapons to easily kill Sage Lei Yun and Sage Fire Dragon. Both of them were peak mystic immortals, but it was useless. Yi-Chen's strength after returning was not something they could predict. Lung Yu, it's your turn. Yi-Chen suddenly turned around and looked at the Lung Yu. The murderous intent in his eyes swept over, causing the Lung Yu to tremble and not dare to move. The Lung Yu sage was truly frightened. He had wanted to show off his skills in this battle and gain merit. He did not expect Yi Chen's strength to be close to a heavenly immortal. How could he deal with such power? Cold Moon, 13 swords. He had no choice but to use his most powerful ability, the 13 swords, at Yi Chen. Useless. However, Yi Chen did not care at all. He raised the Dragon Quell spear in his hand, and the Thunder Dragon's sovereign's shadow flashed. Boom, boom, boom. The only thing that could be seen was the dissipation of sword energy and the birth of a true dragon. The Lung Yu sage fell into extreme panic. He immediately shouted at the four sources, "Dear Source Lords, what are you waiting for?" Oh, the ninth source looked at the other three sources. They had no intention of waiting. They knew very well that they had absolute confidence in killing Yi Chen. Therefore, they just wanted to see the primordial immortal world's army die here. Yi Chen was not the only one who thought of the six-realm struggle. The evil spirits were the first force to propose it. Their ambition was no less than Yi Chen's. Therefore, watching the members of the other forces fall was what they wanted to see the most. You bunch of bastards, you are actually so shameless. What happened to the alliance? Taoist Lung Yu shouted loudly. Ha 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 ha. You can't blame us for this, Taoist Master Cold Moon. After all, you were the ones who came up with the idea. Now that you don't have what it takes, don't blame us for watching from the sidelines. Damn it, bastard evil spirit. Taoist Master Lung Yu tried to steal a chicken, but ended up losing the rice used to lure it. She had now fallen into a desperate situation. I've said it before. Targeting my netherworld battle residence is the most unwise choice the primordial immortal empire has made. Yi Chen died. The Lung Yu sage was in complete despair. She could not care less anymore. She held the Lung Yu sword in her hand and swore to kill Yi Chen. However, his actions would only lead to his death. Yi Chen tossed the dragon restraining spear. There was no need for him to do anything at all. The Thunder Dragon, Suing, was there. The dragon restraining spear activated the 9 accumulations power, instantly multiplying its power. It was a one-hit kill. Dragon Slash. The Lung Yu sage screamed as she was reduced to dust by the dragon restraining spear's lightning. Yi Chen's strength had conquered the immortal spirit army present. They could not imagine that a mystic immortal could do this. Even the Lung Yu sage, who was close to becoming a sky immortal, could be killed on the spot. They were nothing but cannon fodder. All of the primordial immortal empire army knelt and begged for mercy. They wanted to submit to Yi Chen. Take them all, Taoist Lord. Great Emperor, these people are fence-sitters. Don't put them in important positions. The Great Emperor said, I have my ways. Yes. The Great Emperor quickly mobilized the battle residence army and took in the remaining immortal spirit army. What do you think of the 4 great sources? Yi Chen turned to look at the 4 great sources. In less than a moment, Yi Chen had taken care of them. Ha ha, very good, very good. The 6th Origin applauded. After all, it was as if he had used Yi Chen to eradicate the primordial immortal empire's vanguard army. The so-called alliance was nothing but child's play. It could be destroyed at any time or rebuilt at any time. Yi Chen, you've only taken out a few small fries. You still don't understand the situation. The 7th Origin also walked out, followed by the 8th and 9th Origin. In an instant, the power of the 4 great sources was overwhelming, suppressing the battle residence powerhouses. Previously, the battle residence powerhouses had thought that Yi Chen could easily slaughter the primordial immortal empire army, giving them an invincible aura. However, when faced with the 4 Roundheads, their aura was instantly extinguished. This meant that the difference in strength between the 2 sides was fundamental. Naturally, Yi Chen understood this. The battle residence powerhouses could not withstand a single blow from the 4 great sources. He would definitely be held back by 1 or 2 of the 4 great sources. This was not the situation he wanted to see. Patriarch Yellow Spring, Dai Liang, and everyone else retreat. Carry out the order. Yes, yes. The Great Emperor nodded slightly. Yi Wu Shuang, the Great Emperor, and the others began to turn the Golden Lotus mothership around and retreat. Do you think it's that easy to retreat? The ninth Origin smiled sinisterly. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Now is the time for slaughter. How could he let the battle residents' powerhouses leave? Yi-chun, kiddo, let me deal with you. The one who was targeting Yi-chun was the eighth Origin. Thump, thump, thump. The eighth Origin was a powerful being the size of a small mountain, clad in stone armor. Stone horns protruded from his head, making him look like a primordial demon, insufferably arrogant. You'll regret your choice. Ha! Eat my fist, arrogant brat. The eighth Origin punched out like a dragon emerging from the sea, a ferocious tiger descending from the mountains. It did not care about any defense, only about killing. Dragon Fong Fist, 6 dragons, open the way. Yi-chun's brows were cold as he faced the eighth Origin's unyielding punch. The power of the 9 dragons gathered again, and 6 dragons shot out. This was a head-on clash, a clash of strength. Rumble. In the sky, the 6 dragons coiled around the eighth Origin's massive fist. Then, with a shocking explosion, the power of both sides transformed into shockwaves that spread out in all directions. Boom, boom, boom. The surrounding space exploded one after another, shocking everyone present. He blocked it. The eighth Origin was enraged, but he found it unbelievable. His power was peerless, but his opponent was able to exchange blows with him. Such a thing did not exist in the eighth Origin's worldview. Don't underestimate your opponent, eighth brother. The sixth Origin warned. He could sense the majestic might of the heavenly Tao coming from Yi-chun. Chapter 2283. Ha-dai. The eighth Origin went berserk again, its fist radiance boundless as it attacked Yi-chun. Idiot! Yi-chun was furious. Blood dragon battle tattoos appeared all over his body. These were the pure battle inscriptions formed by fusing with the ancient god body and the 9 heavenly Tao. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Then, the battle tattoos flashed with blood-red lightning, multiplying its power. Next, the ancient god apparition behind him fused with the power of his body. Waves of energy burned like flames. With every step Yi-chun took, the ancient god apparition moved, suppressing the eighth Origin. Die! Yi-chun stomped the ground, and the ancient god apparition soared into the sky, suppressing the eighth Origin with its giant fist. Rumble! The ancient god fist radiance with blood dragon battle tattoos and blood-red lightning descended, suppressing the eighth Origin. Hearing the sound of mountains shattering, the ancient god fist radiance continued to suppress the eighth Origin. It was hard to imagine that the eighth Origin would be the first to be subdued. The evil spirit army was shocked. Yi-chun could suppress the eighth Origin all by himself. What kind of power was that? He was just a mystic immortal. Who would believe that he could suppress the eighth Origin? But the truth was right in front of them. They had to believe it. This kid is godly. The eighth Origin is a heavenly demon. How could it be suppressed? This is unbelievable. The morale of the evil spirit army was shaken because of Yi-chun. Of course, Yi-chun was suppressing the eighth Origin not to fight to the death, but to cover the retreat of the battle house. The Golden Lotus mothership turned around and led hundreds of warships back to the battle house. Yi-chun alone held the pass. Clang, clang, clang. The ancient god fist radiance continued to suppress the eighth Origin. The eighth Origin knelt on one knee, sweating profusely. Ha ha! Suddenly, the eighth Origin laughed eerily, sending chills down everyone's spines. The Origin is from the evil spirit world. I didn't expect it to be suppressed by a kid like you. What a joke. Eighth Origin, it's your fate to lose to me. What's there to lament about? Is that so? All of a sudden, a black aura erupted out of the eighth source, which swirled around him as he grew taller and taller. Soon, he was a wretched giant, with 4 arms growing out his back. He was now a 6-armed giant. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, 6 arms shot out, and evil energy exploded. The ancient god's shadow was pushed back. Such a powerful force shocked Yi-chun, but he had achieved his goal. Seeing that the Golden Lotus Mothership had left the main battlefield, Yi Chun began to prepare to retreat. Dragon Taming Spear, Descent of the Thunder God. Yi Chun knew that it would not be easy to leave. He activated the Thunder God Dharma form, and the 9 skandhas appeared. The Dragon Clamp Spear fused with the Thunder God's power and evolved the Thunder Dragon Descent. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Boundless divine lightning destroyed everything in its path. No matter who the opponent was, they would not be able to escape from the Thunder Dragon heavenly punishment. The 6-armed giant used the power of its 6 arms to shatter the divine lightning in front of it. However, the divine lightning was limitless, and the lightning dragon was its core. It circled in the sky and released the power of lightning without any signs of exhaustion. At this point, the 7th origin sighed, then pointed out with a finger. Instantly, a dark beam of light shot toward the core of the Thunder Dragon, which then exploded and vanished without a trace. However, when the experts looked up into the sky, they saw that Yi Chun was nowhere to be seen. Although the 4 sources were present, they could not stop Yi Chun from leaving. Damn it! The 9th origin roared angrily, but what could it do? If the 8th origin's 6-armed giant could not stop Yi Chun, what could it do? After leaving the evil spirit abyss, Yi Chun quickly returned to the Golden Lotus Mothership, and everyone returned to the Netherworld Battle Palace. Yi Chun quickly set up 18 formations around the Battle Palace to defend against enemy sneak attacks. Primordial Immortal World, Ling Wang Palace. Master Ling Wang, Sage Lung Yu, Sage Fiery Dragon, and Sage Lei Yun have all died in the evil spirit abyss. What? Did Xia Ling refuse to cooperate and even attack us? Ling Wang asked in disbelief. That's not the case. They all died at the hands of Yi Chun and the Netherworld Patriarch. How did this happen? Yi Chun led the 6 Realms Alliance to invade the evil spirit abyss. Who would have thought that the 3 sources of the evil spirit abyss would come? Together with the 9th origin, they were invincible. However, they saw Sage Lung Yu and the others die at Yi Chun's hands and did not take us seriously at all. Damn it! Ling Wang was furious. The sky changed color. Indeed, the evil spirits were like jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards. He turned to look at the map of the 6 realms. The demon martial world was the only force that he could cooperate with now. The situation was critical. Sage Gongsu, what's the situation in the demon martial world? The demon martial world has explosive demon lord leading 1,000 warships to the spiritual realm. I've already contacted them. Explosive demon lord hopes to cooperate. Very well, I want to see Explosive Demon Lord personally. Arrange it immediately. Yes. Sage Gongsu nodded slightly and hurried out of the palace. Above the spiritual realm, on a peak, demonic energy was in chaos. A grand space-time tunnel appeared and a grand fleet walked out. It was the demon martial world's army led by Explosive Demon Lord. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, a stream of light flashed. Following that, Sage Gongsu appeared. How have you been, Explosive Demon Lord? Sage Gongsu. At this moment, it was Explosive Demon Lord who stood on the central warship. Sage Gongsu flew to the warship and faced Explosive Demon Lord. I received Ling Huang's order to cooperate before, and I want to implement it. It seems like Ling Wang Palace can't hold it in anymore. Or are you unable to resist the invasion of the 6 Realms Alliance with your own strength? Explosive Demon Lord, you're thinking too much. The strength of the primordial immortal realm is unquestionable. The cooperation with the demon martial world is just for our mutual benefit. I'm trying to hide it? The experts from the primordial immortal realm are not coming out. Moreover, you've lost too many wise masters. Your strength is not what it used to be. If you want to cooperate with the demon martial world, show us some sincerity. Sage Gongsu was puzzled. What Explosive Demon Lord said clearly had a deeper meaning. Pay 100,000 supreme-grade celestial stones to the demon army immediately and hand over 1,000 cultivation manuals and weapons from the primordial immortal realm. What? Sage Gongsu narrowed his eyes and looked at the demon army coldly. However, The demon army only responded with a cold smile. Obviously, they did not care about his attitude. This meant that the demon martial world had grasped their weakness, and they needed the help of the demon martial world. Explosive Demon Lord smiled and looked forward. He had no intention of giving in. The powerful demon generals behind him pressured Sage Gongsu at the same time and released their killing intent. Explosive Demon Lord, is this the attitude of cooperation? Sage Gongsu, this is the attitude of the demon martial world. If you don't want to cooperate, get lost. You. Chapter 2284. Explosive Demon Monarch's unyielding attitude caused Reverend Chongshu's heart to tremble. He knew that it was impossible for him to obtain the cooperation of the world of demon martial arts without paying a price. Explosive Demon King, don't worry. I'll contact Ling Huang now. If he gives his permission, it'll be fine. Faster. With this, the Demon Lord left the front of the warship and returned to his throne to wait. Perfected Master Chong Su quickly went to a corner and conversed with Ling Huang. Z. He released a seal. Celestial energy surrounded him, and a spiritual figure appeared. Void Pierce, how's the situation now? Reporting to Master Ling Huang. This is what happened. Perfected Master Chong Su told Ling Huang about the treatment he had received, and Ling Huang was enraged. These demons dare to treat our primordial immortal empire like this. They really don't respect us. Master Ling Huang, Explosive Demon Monarch, seems to be very familiar with our situation. This means that he has access to information. We don't have enough bargaining chips now. Hearing the words of the true master, Ling Huang's expression darkened. The current situation in the primordial immortal empire was undoubtedly the most severe. Many experts were in seclusion, and many were scattered outside. There were few that could be of use. If he could not find allies now, he had no chance of winning against the Netherworld Battle House. Say yes. Yes. Perfected Chong Su returned to the Explosive Demon King and said, Lord Demon King, Ling Huang has agreed. We will deliver the treasures to you immediately. However, please destroy the Netherworld Battle Mansion as soon as possible. The primordial immortal empire will send an army to assist you. Ha ha ha. The exploding demon lord laughed out loud. 1,000 years ago, the primordial immortal empire had been arrogant and invincible. But now, they were like the slaves of a subjugated country. He was a little surprised by this. Although he had received a lot of information, he did not expect the Ling Huang of this generation to be so useless. They had no will to resist at all. That was good. Although eliminating the Netherworld battle residents was the main goal, the exploding demon lord still had a plan to eliminate the primordial immortal empire in his mind. Very good. Let's head to the Yellow Springs Battle Palace immediately. Yes. The devil ship quickly changed its direction, but Reverend Rush Su only shook his head. At the Netherworld Battle Mansion, Yichen had just returned from the abyss of evil spirits. He sat alone on the throne, contemplating his next move. Suddenly, he sensed the appearance of a powerful demonic energy. It was so vast that it even surpassed the entire demon world. Such a grand demonic energy would definitely trigger something extraordinary. Wu Shuang, immediately follow the people from the devil world and see what they are doing. Yes. Yichen informed Yi Wu Shuang through telepathy, asking him to follow the devil realm leader who had come to help earlier. In the resting area of the devils in the battle house, the leader of the module had indeed sensed the aura of the experts from the world of devil and martial arts. Soon, he became agitated. Yi Wu Shuang observed secretly. He saw him leave the resting area quickly and charge into the dark. Yi Wu Shuang followed him. Very soon, he saw the man release something that looked like an altar. Subsequently, the face of a demon martial world general appeared on the altar. How's the situation in the Yellow Springs Battle Mansion? The man asked. Reporting to the demonic envoy, the Netherworld Battle Mansion has just returned from the expedition to the abyss of evil spirits. This is the situation of the operation. The Devil World's leader explained the situation of spiritual master Lun Yu and the others joining forces with the abyss of evil spirits. He then explained the current deployment of the Netherworld Battle Mansion. If that's the case, the primordial immortal empire wants to have a foot in both boats. However, they don't know that the Devil Martial Empire is the strongest. Continue to monitor the Netherworld Battle Mansion's movements. If there's any news, report immediately. Yes. The leader put away the altar and charged toward the back. Yi Wushuang's eyes turned slightly cold. As Yi Chun had expected, there was a spy in the camp. However, Yi Chun also told him that there was no need to break through directly. Instead, he would beat them at their own game and lure the Demon Martial World Army into a death formation. He quickly told this information to Yi Chun. The latter set up a formation on the path that the Demon Martial World's army had to pass through. Subsequently, the Patriarch of Hell, the Patriarch of Hades, and the rest informed the powerhouses of the battle house to prepare for battle. Yi Chun stood on the mountain behind the Netherworld Battle Mansion. This peak was the Heaven Dao Peak that Yi Chun had reconstructed. On the peak, Yi Chun's gaze was 10,000 miles away. He instantly locked onto the explosive demon army's battleship. Subsequently, Yi Chun transformed and charged in all directions at high speed. On the demonic warship, the explosive demon lord soon received the primordial immortal empire's tributes. These boosted his confidence. As expected, the primordial immortal empire immediately surrendered as soon as he made a move. This was something that even the scarlet-eyed demon lord could not do. Now, he was going to wash away the Red Demon Clan's humiliation and let the Red Demon Clan rise again in the Devil Martial world. Yi Chun, we're working together from the inside this time. I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Unbeknownst to them, Yi Chun could still see the energy form of the explosive demon lord on the opposite peak. It was a majestic crimson orc. It was the manifestation of the explosive demon lord's true form. Explosive demon lord, what awaits you is the burial ground that I've arranged for you. Yi Chun's figure moved instantly and flew to the crucial battlefield. Then he tossed out the 8 gates disc. Immediately, the 8 gates opened and the disc spun rapidly. Countless heavenly Dao imprints appeared on the ground and quickly sank into it. Various runes and inscriptions were continuously carved on it. Following that, Yi Chun tossed out the most powerful formation artifact, the Buddha Emperor Sacred Tablet. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The Buddha Emperor Sacred Tablet emitted countless rays of white light. Following that, it disappeared into the clouds. It was the core of the entire formation. Rumble. In the distant sky, the wind and clouds surged. Demonic energy surged into the sky. It was the arrival of 1,000 demonic warships. Yi Chun's clones led various teams and set up ambushes in various parts of the Heaven Path mountain range. As long as Yi Chun could sense them, these clones would immediately move and lead the powerhouses to attack. On the demonic warship, the explosive demon lord's cold eyes locked onto the surrounding mountains and rivers. Why is it so quiet? Although he did not have much experience in leading an army in a battle, as the son of the Qi and demon lord, he had received too much experience. He could tell that something was strange. Send a team to check the path ahead. Yes, a warship flew toward the Netherworld Battle Mansion. Seeing that the battleship had entered the ambush range, Yi Chun did not give any orders. Behind the battleship, countless Pandora demon energy surged like thousands of soldiers and horses. However, Yi Chun's Buddha Emperor's I could see everything clearly. Trying to trick me with such a trick? What a joke. Yi Chun stood alone on the Heaven Path peak. He closed his eyes and focused, waiting for the best opportunity. Seeing that the warship ahead was fine and that he even received a message from the Devil Realm leader, the explosive demon lord was confident that they would win this time. Charge. Yes, rumble. The huge fleet rushed into the Heaven Path Peaks formation. Just in time, Yi Chun suddenly opened his eyes and the killing ray bloomed. Chapter 2285. Boom, boom, boom. As the Demon Martial World's army passed through the passageway below the Heavenly Dao Peak, the formation was activated. Boundless energy exploded the space, and hundreds of battleships were instantly destroyed. What? Seeing the battleships around the mothership exploding one after another, The exploding demon monarch was enraged. He swung the dual maces in his hands toward the sky, and demonic flames soared into the sky. You dare to play tricks in front of this demon king? I'll make sure you die without a complete corpse. The exploding demon king leaped into the air and swung his maces. Instantly, countless demonic flame wolves charged in all directions, searching for the formation eye. Brat, don't be arrogant. At this moment, an angry shout was heard as the netherworld old ancestor appeared. The patriarch was surrounded by the netherworld aura, and the netherworld energy soared into the sky. Up in the sky, the netherworld energy took on all sorts of forms, forcefully suppressing the demonic flame of the exploding demon monarch. However, very soon, the demonic flame of the exploding demon monarch caused the netherworld energy to be unable to hold on any longer. Ha! Insignificant tricks. How dare you show off in front of this demon king? Who are you? I won't kill a nobody. I am the netherworld old ancestor, the netherworld king's teacher. Who are you all? Remember the person who killed you. My name is Explosive Demon Monarch, the son of the Qi Yin Demon Master. Ha! Hearing this, the netherworld ancestor laughed again and again. This made the demon monarch furious. He asked, "What are you laughing at?" "Very simple." Old ancestor Yu Ming continued. "The Qi Yin demonic lord was defeated by the great emperor. I didn't expect his son to come back and defeat him. What a joke." As soon as these words came out, heaven and earth shook. The top of the exploding demon monarch's head was ablaze with demonic flames soaring into the sky. Countless demonic flames transformed into a ferocious demonic wolf that was about to devour the arrogant man before him. "Old thing, today, the demon king will grind your bones to dust." The demonic monarch's rage shook the heavens. He brandished his truncheons, and a massive demonic wolf charged at the netherworld old ancestor. Netherworld's secret technique, netherworld realm. Naturally, the nether patriarch would not just sit and wait for his death. According to Yi Chen's plan, he would use the netherworld's highest secret technique to summon the netherworld. In front of him, the majestic gate to the nether realm was opened. Countless nether energy burst out from it, transforming into various forms and attacking the exploding demon monarch. Countless resentful spirits entangled the demon wolf, causing it to fall into a bitter battle. Kill! With the demon monarch's order, countless warships began to fire their magic cannons. Zzz. Countless rays of demonic energy shot towards the netherworld old ancestor. The netherworld realm released all kinds of netherworld creatures to block the rays of demonic energy. However, there were too many battleships. Very soon, the netherworld realm was unable to resist and fell into a state of collapse. At the same time, Yi Wushuang and the Patriarch of Hell took action. Underworld Sword. The old ancestor roared as the yellow spring's sword tempest gushed forth, transforming into the form of a tornado that locked onto the demon wolves before him. Next, the yellow spring's sword chi revolved, causing the demon wolves to howl madly. However, it was useless. Under the power of the yellow spring's laws, they were all destroyed. However, the enemy's hundreds of battleships unleashed magical energy rays at the same time, instantly sweeping through the entire area, putting the Grand Elder and the others in danger. At that moment, Yi Chen activated the seal. The powerful formation that had been set up in the Heavenly Path mountain range was activated. Zzz. The phantoms of the 8 gates divine plates appeared, like a sky covering, enveloping a radius of 1,000 miles. Yi Chen, the explosive demon lord, roared when he saw the formation. He knew that only Yi Chen could set up such a grand formation. Explosive demon lord, are you going to follow in your father's footsteps? Yi Chen sent a voice transmission from 1,000 miles away and charged into the demon army. Ha, Yi Chen, you brat. How dare you say that? Back then, my father was tricked by you. Now, I'm going to avenge him. Come out and die. How stupid. His cold voice soared into the sky. 6 dragons paved the way while the golden eagle spread its wings. It turned out that throughout the 100 years that Yi Chun had been cultivating and ascending, he had never forgotten about his little friend, Xiao Jin. Now that Xiao Jin had been nourished by Yi Chen's ancient god body, it had ascended and transformed into the great golden-winged rock. Screech! The great rock let out a roar. A hurricane swept across the sky. In an instant, hundreds of demonic battleships were overturned in the sky. Encountering such a terrifying hurricane, the demon army's morale was in chaos. Calm down. The explosive demon lord glared at him furiously. The surrounding demon army dared not move. At this moment, the great golden-winged rock was already hovering in the sky. Yi Chun looked down at the demon army below. He was surrounded by the Netherworld Patriarch, the Abyssal Patriarch, and Yi Wu Shuang, giving explosive demon lord immense pressure. Now, it was not explosive demon lord who wanted to invade the Netherworld Battle Palace. Instead, it was the Netherworld Battle Palace who wanted to eliminate the demons before them. Explosive demon lord, surrender now. You want me to surrender? Don't even think about it. Explosive demon lord activated the power of his dual truncheons and released a powerful demonic flame again. It burned the entire sky, wanted to kill the great golden-winged rock and Yi Chun in one blow. Phew! However, he did not expect the great golden-winged rock to open its mouth directly. In an instant, all the demonic flames were absorbed into its body. The space inside the great golden-winged rock was the ancient god space. Xiao Jin had been cultivating in the ancient god space all this while. In the end, it turned into a golden egg and was reborn in the fire as the great golden-winged rock. Now, Yi Chen's ancient god space was connected to Xiao Jin's law. As long as Xiao Jin absorbed something into its mouth, it could enter the ancient god space with Yi Chen's permission. Impossible! Seeing his demonic flames surging wildly and entering Xiao Jin's body, explosive demon lord was incomparably shocked. He did not expect that in 100 years, although he had relied on his genius ability to ascend and even surpass the Qi Yin demon lord. Compared to Yi Chen's encounter in the past 100 years, it was like comparing a fluorescent light to a bright moon. There was no comparison at all. Kill him. Explosive demon lord had lost his mind. He issued an order, and all the demonic warships began to fire demonic rays toward Yi Chun. He wanted to use the energy density to completely destroy everything before him. However, this was all within Yi Chen's expectations. 8 Gates Divine Disc. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The 8 Gates Divine Disc appeared again. Immediately, the 8 gates opened and the devouring sky appeared before Yi Chun. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Like the giant mouth of an ancient demonic beast, the entire sky devoured all energy before it. It was the shadow of the Nether God. This time, no matter how hard the explosive demon lord tried to calm the army, he could not hide the trembling emotions of the world of magic and martial arts combatants. The super-destructive light wave that was condensed from hundreds of demonic warships had been forcefully devoured by Yi Chun. What else could kill him? Impossible. This thought quickly spread among the demon army cultivators. Yi Chun was invincible. No one could defeat him. Clang! Explosive demon lord knelt on the ground, his eyes filled with despair. Initially, he wanted to change the fate of the Red Demon tribe with this expedition. However, he did not expect that not only would he fail to achieve his goal, but he would also die here. If such an army was completely annihilated, even if he did not die, he would be punished by 1,000 cuts when he returned to the world of magic and martial arts. Chapter 2286. Just as the demon army was in a desperate situation, there was a loud explosion in the sky. Following that, the majestic evil spirit army descended. Ha ha ha, Yi Chun, you didn't expect this, did you? The person standing in front was the 8th origin of the evil spirits. He had been suppressed by Yi Chun last time. This time, he wanted to regain his dignity. On the mothership behind him were the 6th, 7th, and 9th origin. The 4 origin had taken the initiative to counterattack. The aggressive nature of the evil spirits was still very strong. Their target was the entire spiritual realm. Now, the biggest enemy in their way was naturally Yi Qin's six-realm alliance. Great Emperor, the evil spirits have all come out this time. What should we do? The Patriarch of Hell asked. Yi Qin looked at the scene before him. It was not a problem to use the formation to deal with the Demon Lord, but it was impossible against the Four Origin. Seeing the evil spirits coming, the Demon Lord suddenly stood up. He saw a glimmer of hope. I'm a son of the Qi Yin Demon Lord. My father once worked with the evil spirits to deal with Yi Qin. Now, the Demon Martial World hopes to attack the Six-Realm Alliance with the Origin Lords. We don't need any land. We just need Yi Qin's death. Oh, the son of the Qi Yin Demon Lord? The ninth Origin stood up and looked at the Demon Lord with interest. Then, it nodded slightly at the sixth and seventh Origin. Since you're the son of an old friend of the Demon Martial World, we agree. Thank you, Origin Lord. The Demon Lord turned around and sneered at Yi Qin as if mocking him for reaping what he sowed. To think that the son of the independent Qi Yin Demon Lord would recognize a thief as his father. What a joke. Yi Qin, don't talk nonsense. I'll kill you. To alleviate the awkward atmosphere, the Demon Lord flew up and attacked Yi Qin. Hiss, hiss, hiss. However, before he could attack, the ground under his feet suddenly lit up. The formation had been activated again. The Eight Gates disc had locked onto the Demon Lord. As the formation rotated, countless chains rushed out from the ground. It was the Buddha Eye Shackle. Mima, 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 the Buddha Emperor's secret incantation was activated. The Buddha's Eye Shackles instantly entangled the exploding Demon Lord. Following that, the golden Buddhist words kept floating and flashing around him. The exploding Demon Lord felt weak all over his body, as if he had lost all his power. This phenomenon made his heart tremble. He was the leader of the entire demon army. How embarrassing it was to be completely suppressed by Yi Qin in such a situation. The eighth Origin roared with laughter, causing exploding Devil Lord to feel extremely humiliated. The explosive Demon Lord was captured by Yi Qin so easily. What an eye-opener. Although Eruption Demon Lord was furious, he didn't dare to curse the eighth source. After all, this concerned the safety of hundreds of thousands of Red Devil warriors. Lord Devil King. The Red Demon warriors were very worried about the exploding Demon Lord and wanted to attack. However, the exploding Demon Lord knew very well that once they attacked, they would be trapped by Yi Qin's Buddha's Eye Shackles. It would be futile. Don't move, he shouted at the Red Devil army. Yes, the powerhouses retreated, not daring to move. The exploding Demon Lord tried to break out of the Buddha's Eye Shackles several times, but he failed every time. Within the Buddha's Eye Shackles, his demonic energy was naturally purified and rendered useless. The Buddha Emperor Demon Exorcism formation was so powerful that even the heavenly demons could not resist it. Lord Origin, I'm your ally. Aren't you going to save me? Saving you isn't a problem. As long as you declare your loyalty to the evil spirit world, you and your army will all be saved. The eighth Origin said. What? The exploding Demon Lord's eyes widened and his face contorted. He didn't expect the eighth Origin to be so vicious as to demand his loyalty. If he did that, he would lose all faith in the Demon Martial World. It would be a fate worse than death. However, if he didn't do as the eighth Origin asked, the entire Red Devil army might die here. What should he do? His emotions were in turmoil. The exploding Demon Lord was in great pain, and the Red Devil army was in the same state. Seeing the eighth Origin and the Red Devil army fighting, Yi Qin quickly activated his mental cultivation method to strengthen the formation in Heaven Dao Peak. Then, he opened the passage to the Netherworld. He wanted to move the Netherworld Battle Mansion's army into the Netherworld. After all, this place was too small and could easily become a target for the Four Origin forces. Feather Emperor, bring the army into the Netherworld with the Beast King. Yes, the Feather Emperor contacted the Beast King and led the Netherworld army into the Netherworld. Exploding Demon Lord, I don't have that much patience. The eighth Origin sensed the Yi Qin army's movements and quickly shouted at the exploding Demon Lord. I agree. I, the exploding demon lord, swear my loyalty to the eighth origin. Ha ha ha. The evil spirit army laughed maniacally. They did not expect the exploding demon lord to swear his loyalty to the evil spirits. In an instant, countless mockery and disdain were directed at the exploding demon lord and the red devil army. Such an action hurt them greatly, and they lowered their heads. However, they knew that the exploding demon lord was only doing this to protect their lives. Yi Chen, what do you think now? The demon lords of the demon martial world are kneeling before us. What are you waiting for? Submit to the evil spirits like him. You might even get a good job under the Origin Force. The eighth Origin, a defeated opponent, dares to speak so boldly? I like to meet someone as shameless as you. Hearing this, the eighth Origin and the exploding demon lord were enraged and glared at Yi Chen. Kill. The eighth Origin punched with the Origin energy. Its target was not Yi Chen, but exploding demon lord. Rumble. The Origin energy surged and poured into the formation. Following that, cracks appeared on the Buddha's eye shackles. The exploding demon lord began to activate the red devil energy in an attempt to break free. The Buddha's eye shackles formation was greatly impacted by the attacks from the inside and the outside. Yi Chen knew that the formation could not be maintained for long. He did not want to waste any more time. Let's perish together, idiots. All of a sudden, the four sources were shocked at the same time. They felt a huge force exploding. They looked down at the ground and heard a loud explosion. Following that, the Buddha Emperor's sacred tablet rose up slowly. All the energy in the surrounding space gathered towards the saint tablet. Following that, it turned into a huge ball of light that attacked the space around it. At this moment, Yi Chen and the other combatants had already flown to the heavenly blade peak on the Golden Lotus Mothership. The vast heavenly Tao energy protected them from the Buddha Emperor Sage tablet's attack. Boom, boom, boom. The ground around them exploded. The might of the Buddha Emperor shocked the world. Hundreds of thousands of the demon martial world and the evil spirit army were destroyed. In an instant, blood flowed like a river. Screams of agony could not be avoided. Chapter 2287. Yi Chen, the eighth origin, was instantly enraged and reappeared in its six-armed form, instantly shattering the Buddha, eye shackles, and freeing the exploding devil monarch. Damn it! The explosive demon lord was enraged. He unleashed all his might and charged toward Yi Chen. Exploding thousand hands bullet. Behind the demon sovereign, a gigantic demon soldier appeared. It was in the shape of a wheel, and there were 10 pipes on top of it, which contained boundless demonic energy. All of the pipes spewed out demonic meatballs, which bombarded the area within 500 kilometers. Boom, boom, boom. All the explosive thousand-hand grenades flew toward Yi Chen. This level of power was enough to kill a heavenly immortal in an instant. Emperor, the Patriarch of Hell, and the rest at the back revealed worried expressions. However, Yi Chen signaled them not to come over, as if such a trick was useless against him. Explosive demon monarch, I'll show you the difference between you and me. Faced with the explosive thousand-hand bullet, Yi Chen hovered in the air and stood in front of the Golden Lotus Mothership with his hands behind his back. He seemed like he was going to take the attack head-on. Not only was he going to take the attack head-on, but he did not have any defensive measures at all. He's courting death. The demon monarch's thousand-hand burst grenades can instantly kill a human heaven immortal. He wants to use his body to withstand the demon monarch's thousand-hand grenades? This person is crazy. Haha, let Yi Chen die here. This is the demon lord's revenge for the hundreds of thousands of red demon warriors. Countless red demon warriors roared. They were waiting to see Yi Chen explode and die. They were waiting to see Yi Chen's blood splatter across the 9 heavens as a sacrifice for the heroic souls of their fallen warriors. But how could they know that? How could the might of a heavenly emperor tolerate blasphemy? 9 dragons, Zhen Qi, protective astral wind. Roar. However, a dragon's roar was heard along with the roar of 9 dragons. Immediately, The 9 dragons circled around Yi Chun and protected him. Meanwhile, the night demon armor appeared on Yi Chun's body. After devouring many divine weapons, the night demon armor had ascended and activated its deeper functions. Night demon battle armor. How do you feel? Master, let me teach these idiots a lesson this time. All right. Yi Chen's eyes narrowed as he looked forward. He did not have any defensive measures. He only relied on the night demon armor and the 9 dragons' chi to defend himself. Perhaps this was not just defense. On the night demon armor, a new heavenly Tao epigraph appeared. It was formed by the 108 heavenly Tao marks. Yi Chen wanted to give the red demons a surprise. Boom, boom, boom. Countless 1,000-hand grenades broke through any defense and attacked Yi Chun in a frenzy. Roar! At this moment, the night demon battle armor roared furiously like a ferocious beast. Then, the night demon battle armor transformed into a huge silhouette. All of the 1,000-hand grenades landed on the night demon battle armor. What is that? The red demon race was shocked because they saw that on the night demon battle armor, there were countless wriggling dark matter, and the 1,000-hand bombs had all sunk into the dark matter, not even having the chance to explode. It was the evolution of the darkness origin. The dark matter continued to squirm as countless 1,000-hand grenades embedded themselves within it. Then, a huge demonic figure that looked like Xing Tian appeared on the night demon battle armor. Ha 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 ha, are you guys ready now? Prepare for what? Explosive demon monarch asked. Prepare to die. Before the shocked gazes of the experts from the world of demon and martial arts. The dark matter surged rapidly. Next, the energy of the 9 dragons was infused into the dark matter, as though it was being recharged. Hiss, hiss, hiss. As the energy of the 9 dragons was fully charged, the elasticity of the dark matter reached an extreme state. All of them turned into slingshots, and on these slingshots were the 1,000-hand grenades. Now, the Red Hair Tribe army completely understood that Yi Chun was using the others in their own way technique. How powerful was the 1,000-hand grenade? Now, the destructive power was completely used on them. No, explosive demon monarch let out a roar of despair. Was the red demon army going to be destroyed by his own ultimate technique? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, the bulge exploded and the dark slingshots were all activated. Countless 1,000-hand grenades were reflected towards the red demon army. They were so fast that no one could escape the bombardment of the 1,000-hand grenades. Boom, boom, boom. In the blink of an eye, there were endless explosions. Flesh and blood flew everywhere, and demonic energy wreaked havoc. The red demon army was reduced to less than 10%. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Blood splattered, bones shattered, and corpses piled up like a mountain. Explosive demon monarch roared and cursed like a madman, flying toward the red demon army. He still did not care about the 1,000-hand grenades. He only wanted to be with his warriors. However, it was useless. His warriors had already fallen. Demon Monarch, a powerhouse from the demon martial world, was just about to reach out his hand when the 1,000-hand grenade exploded. Explosive Demon Monarch went crazy. This was equivalent to him personally destroying the Red Demon Army. Explosive Demon Monarch, evil spirit Gu Shunji, targeted me. Do you know that there's no chance of survival under the wrath of heaven? Yi Chen said coldly. The explosive demon lord did not even have the courage to attack Yi Chen anymore. Everything that he saw was his own vicious attack. Why did he have to fight Yi Chen? Trash. Seeing explosive demon monarch's negative attitude, the 8th source shouted angrily, then looked at Yi Chen coldly. The evil spirit Gu Shunji had also suffered heavy losses from the 1,000-hand grenades. Yi Chen, why aren't you running? How confident are you? The 8th source asked. I don't need any confidence. Against me, on the other hand, you're prepared to die? You're too arrogant. Everyone, stay back. Otherwise, don't blame the 8th source for turning on you. The 8th source's dignity in martial arts was being challenged. Without hesitation, he walked forward and announced to the crowd. Everyone knew his personality, so they all backed away, not daring to come forward. Now, Yi-chun, do you dare to stay and fight to the death with me? Eighth origin. It'll be too late to regret your choice. Cut the crap. Do you dare? The eighth origin knew that if Yi-chun wanted to leave, no one would be able to stop him. Tower Foundation wanted to have a real, bloody battle with Yi-chun here. Why not? Yi-chun quickly sent out a message, telling the Patriarch of Hell to quickly retreat into the underworld with everyone else. The Patriarch of Hell and the others wanted to stay and help Yi-chun, but Yi-chun's order was too strong, so they could only leave. The Golden Lotus Mothership was powerful, so it disappeared in the blink of an eye. The Evil Spirit Army did not move, because the Eighth Source's words were too domineering. If anyone moved, they would be making an enemy out of the Eighth Source, which they could not afford to do. Very well, you're a man after all. However, I'll show you my true strength. I only used 30% of my power in the last battle. Is that so? Eighth Source, before you close your eyes, I hope you let me have my fun.